NASCAR on Fox welcomes you back to the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, where today NASCAR's Winston Cup Series squares off at the shortest track on the circuit, Martinsville, Virginia Speedway, for the Virginia 500. This track, nestled between a neighborhood of homes and the Norfolk Southern rail line, has played host to great racing since 1947, and there is not a seat to be had today as folks settle in for some great short track slam bang. This track is truly shaped like a paper clip, and contact is near constant. It's a fun place to watch a race. We're about to find out if it's a fun place to be in one. Let's go trackside for today's opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise at this time as our presentation of colors from our local veterans of World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Our invocation today by Mr. John Fox of Raceway Ministries.
Let us pray. Our Father, as we seek your blessing and pray for a safe race today, we remember our nation in this time of war. We thank you for the rescue of the 7 prisoners of war and pray for the protection and safe return home of all of our troops. We pray for healing for those who have been injured and comfort for the families of those who have given their lives in the fight for freedom. As we pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance today, 7-year-old Will Campbell, son of Martinsville Speedway President Clay Campbell and his wife Kim, and Clark and Kelsey Kilgore, children of Virginia Attorney General Jerry Kilgore and his wife Marty.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now, God Bless America as performed by Miss Lori Beth Hogan.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the final 5 contestants of Nashville Star, who have traveled all night since performing live on the USA Network last evening. They are Buddy Jewell, Miranda Lambert, John Arthur Martinez, and Brandon Silvera.
So proudly we hail as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the
And now for the most infamous words in all of sports, Virginia State Attorney General Jerry Kilgore.
Isn't it great to be an American? In honor of our freedom, in honor of our country, in honor of our troops. Gentlemen, start your engine!
Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR and proud sponsor of the Bud Pool Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each Winston Cup race. Today, Jeff Gordon joins the Bud Pool winners of 2003. Since '79, Anheuser-Busch has awarded more than $8 million as title sponsor of NASCAR's Pool Award program. It is a perfect spring day. The sky couldn't be brighter. The sun couldn't shine any better as we look at the starting lineup for today's race. And two of the hot shoes, Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr., share the front row with two Dodges right behind, Ryan Newman and Kenny Schrader, and the track's winningest active driver, Rusty Wallace, there with Joe Nemechek in row 3.
You know what yesterday reminded me of? This is a flat Bristol. There you think about it. Got concrete turns. We just don't have the banking here. We got the same contact. We're going to see the same kind of action. This is a flat Bristol.
Yeah, I mean, all the action happens right in the groove of the racetrack. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to escape it.
You're still up on the wheel, aren't you?
Oh, man, I tell you. I really feel I'd like to be out there today. I mean, I know that's stretching it a little bit, but I sure had a good time yesterday.
Watch Terry Labonte from deep in the field. He was really quick in practice.
And everybody talked about the track changing, you know, how they ground it last year and how different it was. And it is different, but it's different in a good kind of way. I think we're going to see some great side-by-side racing. You get pinned down on that inside, the guy on the outside can hold you up for a long time.
.43 cars here for this race. Nobody goes home as we continue to page back through the starting lineup.
What I like about this place, Mike, it always reminded me of running into a sea of people. Not a sea of love, but a sea of people.
Look deep in the field. A lot of heavy hitters back there. You see Bill Elliott. You're going to see Dale Jarrett back there. A lot of wins. Matt Kenseth, our points leader.
Got two past Winston Cup champions had to take provisionals, Bobby Labonte and Dale Jarrett.
You heard him talking to Kurt Busch. That's the same position he started here in the fall when he won this race.
See, everything's close here. Look at the haulers. I mean, everything here is like your best, closest friend, rubbing shoulders all the time.
It's even tight in the garage, Jerry.
It's tight everywhere.
Todd Bodine and Hermie Sadler double duty this weekend. They were in Nashville yesterday for the Busch Series race. So welcome, Mike Joy with Larry McReynolds and Darrell Waltrip, the track's winningest driver.
Thank you.
Right up there in one of them.
Yeah.
Well, at Talladega, we were talking yesterday, you had to make the car fast. Here, Darrell, you got to make it last.
Oh, yeah, it's brakes. You know, Talladega, we talk about aerodynamics. Here you talk about brakes. You got to be careful with the brakes. You can cook them. You can get things glowing red, boil the fluid, and then you're in trouble the rest of the day. So got to stay off those brakes. I've talked to many of these young drivers down here, and they say, man, I'm having trouble with my brakes. Use your right foot, not your left. That's how you save them.
Larry, what have you got to do? What kind of parts do you need? What kind of pieces, aside from duct tape and the hammer, do you want to have on hand to get through 500 laps here?
Well, I mean, you know, everywhere we go, we worry about the equipment failing us. You know, worry about engine failures. But here, along with the brakes, you know, so much heat's being generated. You've got a very low gear in the car. We tear a lot of gears up here. Transmissions. Yeah, it's hard on engines. But, Mike, what I laid awake and thought about last night is this is one of those places where you want to get off sync on pit road. If you just follow the leader all day, that's what you're going to do, follow the leader. So we're going to see a lot of different agendas on pit road to get that track position, especially late in this race.
And one thing we haven't addressed is traffic, Darrell. The lap cars here can be a real headache.
Oh, we saw that yesterday. I mean, they line up on the inside. They take the preferred line, and they shove you out. You go down in the corner, they shove you out. You pick up all that trash on your tires. It really breaks your momentum. So, yeah, lap traffic is a big, big problem. We saw that all day yesterday.
set to go at Martinsville Speedway for the running of the Virginia 500. Let's quickly go down to the Dean of TV Pit Reporters, Dick Bergeron.
Ken Schrader hasn't won a Winston Cup race since 1991, but he's got a fast car today. He starts in 4th position. To win, you've got to finish. He has finished all but 3 of his 37 starts here at Martinsville. Matt.
Well, Dick, the 99 driver, Jeff Burton, enters Martinsville trying to end a 48-race winless streak. He won here back in 1997 from the 10th position. That's right where he will roll off from today. Talking to a number of crew chiefs this morning, they said the 99 car looked very stout in the final practice session. This is Steve Burns.
Well, Matt, two-time Winston Cup champion Terry Labonte has 21 Winston Cup wins, but he's never been a winner here at Martinsville. He's been second 3 times. As crew chief Jim Long says, they've got a good race car. Today is his 50th start, hoping it will be a golden one. Jeannie Zelasco.
Well, Kurt Busch returns to the scene of the crime where he grabbed the win last fall and then ripped off 7 straight top 10 finishes, including 3 victories. He hopes to grab that spark again today, returning to the same launching pad. Just like that Sunday last fall when he got the win, he will roll off 36.
Larry, it could not be a more perfect spring day.
Not a cloud in the sky. And you just look right here, the temperature is 70 degrees. And what that tells me, this is the hottest it's been all weekend. That racetrack will get real slick. These cars are really going to slide around.
Yeah, you just have trouble getting that forward bite that we'll constantly be talking about.
500 laps here, and look at how close the field is packed. 0.4 of a second from first to worst.
Can't even think about that length of time.
In practice yesterday, Mike, 3/10 from the fastest to the slowest through the field. Hey, look at here.
DW, I was serious yesterday. Please pull those belts tight. This is twice the length of the race yesterday.
Take her down in that first turn.
With Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that Budweiser car, he got pretty good bite off that second turn in that high groove, Darrell.
You can do that, and I think we'll see that all day long. The guy on the inside has the advantage, should have on the new tires, but as the tires wear off, you start to slide up into that second groove. I saw a lot of drivers, Larry, and you did too, working on their cars to be able to run the high groove here. It's not going to work early, but it'll come in after the tires wear a little bit.
Jeff Gordon, he leads that first lap. He's led the last 7 races of this season. 5 points every time he leads in those races.
And what happens here, Mike, Larry, is everybody fights for the bottom. Sometimes that'll open up that outside, and you can pass a lot of race cars when you're back in the field.
Kenny Schrader is the one lead car that's still up on the outside, and he fends off Rusty Wallace, and now we'll go single file through the first 10.
I got to tell you this real quick. I asked Schrader, I said, how's your car? And he said, I got Jeff Gordon worried. I said, how's that? He said, I stayed behind him for 10 laps, and I know he had to go in and start working on his car. He said, look, Kenny Schrader's keeping up with me.
Was it Schrader scaring him, or was it Carrot Top on the hood of that thing?
It's probably that face, yeah. Schrader looks good, though. He's running there in 4th place, and he's got a good car.
They were happy with their car in practice. They really were.
I don't think anybody was as happy with their car, though, as Jeff Gordon. I mean, he was on pole. I watched him practice, got a little casual contact back here in 3 and 4, bumped a bunch of cars sideways. Everybody recovered. Dale Jarrett, one of them. They're still going.
Jeff Burton gets past Jimmy Johnson, and that's for 8th place. As from 10th on back, it's still a 2-wide logjam. And when you're back there, Darrell, how do you be patient? You see the leaders getting away. What can you do?
Well, this is all stopping and going. The problem is the guy in front of you stopping when you're going. And you bang your front end up, close your brake ducts up, and first thing you know, you got heating problems.
Now Kenny Wallace trying to make the move on Jimmy Johnson on the outside. Wallace was the quickest of all drivers in yesterday's final practice.
But I'm going to tell you what, we heard Matt Yoakum talking about Jeff Burton in the 99 car right in front of these guys. Jeff Burton, he was good in both practices, and when he qualifies as good, you definitely have to watch him closely.
Yeah, I almost picked him for today's race. I thought he would be a good pick. I know he's hungry, he runs well here, and he's been good all weekend.
New car chief on that car under Paul Andrews. You heard Chris Myers, you guys talking about the change at Robert Yates Racing. Brad Parrott is now the car chief for Jeff Burton.
Roush teammates, the point leader, Matt Kenseth and Kurt Busch, 3rd in the standings. Now they're side by side, but that's way back at 29th right now.
And that's a car owner's worst nightmare, is to see your cars running side by side.
Or a place like this, especially.
Somewhere like this, especially when you're back in the field. You come into the flag, it wouldn't be too bad. the thing about this place, look here. Here comes Jeff Gordon. He's at the line now, and Todd Bodine is in the middle of the back straightaway. He's a half a lap down already.
You know, unique thing about this racetrack, besides it looking like a paper clip, we go to asphalt tracks, we go to concrete tracks. You look right here, the corners of this racetrack, it's concrete. The straightaways are asphalt. See, it's concrete from there to there, all the way around both ends. The reason they did that, those old modified cars would come here. And there you see the other end of the racetrack. The modified cars would come here. So much grip, and these corners so tight they couldn't keep the asphalt down, so they put concrete.
Yeah, this is the original concrete surface.
Right. Ricky Craven has just passed Greg Biffle to move himself up to 16th behind Elliott Sadler. And before I anger half of NASCAR's longtime fans, I should have introduced Darrell as this track's winningest active this weekend driver. Richard Petty, of course, is the track's all-time winner.
Yeah,
as he is in most places.
Yeah, he won a lot of races well before I got started, but he was certainly the king of all racetracks. And I watched Craven test up here last week, and he had a great car on the long run. That's what I watched. He ran about 75 laps and never slowed down very much, so he's got a really good car.
Brand new race car for him.
Looking back, Ricky Rudd on the inside of Mike Skinner, and Rudd finds a place in line in 19th, just ahead of Skinner, as Mark Martin back there at 21st.
How about this look right here? This is what these guys are feeling and seeing the whole time they're in this race car around this racetrack. You don't think it gets close and tight in there?
Well, you know what else? I mean, your arms and you get tired here. It's a very physical racetrack. You know what else gets tired and doesn't anywhere else? Is your braking foot. Some drivers, when I said use your right foot, you don't want to use your left foot braking here because you use up too much brake. You want to put that left foot up under the clutch pedal and just brake and gas with your right foot. That way it'll save the brakes.
Jimmy Johnson trying to get a spot back from Kenny Wallace. This is now for 9th place. Now here's that log jam we talked about. And at 2nd place, Dale Jr. had to look inside Ryan Newman.
And Dale Jr. in the Budweiser car, his weekend has not been without event. Yesterday in the garage area, talk about the garage area being close quarters. Him and Jack Sprague got together, tore the left front fender off that race car, tore the rear bumper off Jack Sprague.
Now watch, you see Junior get down along the side of Ryan. Ryan's in the outside groove. Junior got a pretty good bite off there. Ryan's going to let him go. But if Ryan elected to race him, if Ryan wanted to race him and run side by side, he could hold him up for quite a while.
And Jeff Gordon would get smaller and smaller out there leading this thing.
I think that was.
And Junior gave him a wave as he went by, as if to say, thanks for not running me hard. We'll do that later.
And Larry knows, just like yesterday I said, talk to this guy, talk to that guy, spotter, and tell him to cut me some slack. Let me go. He's holding me up.
Joe Nemechek, 6th. Tony Stewart trying to take it. And that is new colors for Jeff Burton right behind the two of them. Burton, the 99. Who is presently 8th.
And they were really nervous this morning about the 20 cars, Tony Stewart, because they changed a ton of things on that race car. It just wasn't down in the racetrack yesterday.
Yeah, I watched him yesterday, Larry, and he was not very good. I mean, he was slipping and sliding all over the place.
Guys have been watching the race up here on the back straightaway, and Jeff Gordon got himself a pretty good lead, but he's getting ready to get up some lap traffic, and you know how that works here at Martinsville. Those guys don't want to go down a lap, so probably the guys running 2nd, 3rd will get a chance to gain some ground back on Jeff Gordon here as soon as he gets there. And right now, Todd Bodine is about a half a second slower than the 24 car, so it won't be long.
Well, he's taking 20 laps. I'm going to say somewhere around 25 laps he's going to be catching tail in the field. Then we'll have that conveyor belt of cars.
20 laps are complete here in Martinsville, Virginia. Jeff Gordon has led them all. Welcome back to Martinsville Speedway from our Budweiser aerial coverage. Can you find the leader? He's right there. Well, no, he's not. He's right. Well, he's there. He's there somewhere. He's Jeff Gordon, and he's been the leader since we waved the green flag.
He started putting laps on cars. Now just put Todd Bodine in the 54-car lap down.
I'll tell you a guy that's impressing the heck out of me. There goes our leader right there, but not too terribly far behind him is a guy that's really got his car hooked up great. I don't know how many changes they made on that car, but they made the right. Look at that thing go around the curve, Larry.
It's hugging the bottom. He's one of the few cars that's electing to run the bottom of the racetrack right now.
Now, there's some grip. If you can get those left side tires right against that curve, it seems like maybe they didn't grind that right close to the curb, and you can really pick up a lot of grip with those left side tires.
Riding with Rusty Wallace.
Look at him dive in there.
in 5th right now.
See him dive down in that turn and hug that curb. Now, that's what the guys could not do here last fall. They could not ride the bottom. They had to move up. But I think they've got a lot of grip down there now.
Now, Rusty had caught his teammate Ryan Newman, but Dick Berggren could not pass him.
Yeah, but Newman has slipped back, Mike. He started in 3rd spot, running in 6th spot right now. The car's a little bit loose off. He just picked up the radio and said he needed some bite in. And meanwhile, Matt Borland has told him that already in this race, the brake rotors are glowing hot. Steve?
Dick and happy hour, Kenny Wallace was the fastest car in practice, but the last few laps, Jimmy Johnson, Jimmy Spencer, Ricky Craven have all gone by the 23. Kenny Wallace telling Felipe Lopez, the crew chief, I need more forward bite.
Steve, what a lot of these guys need right now, and this is riding with Kenny Wallace, watch the rotor start glowing. That's when he drives off in the corner and applies the brake pedal. I mean, it's like molten lava.
Yeah, there's 2 ways to race here. You can get on the brake, on the straightaway, and then get off like a road course. Or you can, what I call, ride the car down. Ride it all the way into the middle of the turn. And if you do that, your brakes will not last.
You know, we talk about qualifying being important here. Right here, we're seeing Bobby Labonte and Dale Jarrett. These guys won the last 2 races here. Bobby Labonte last year, Dale Jarrett in 2001. And in fact, they're battling for the 33rd position. But the real problem they have is Jeff Gordon's only 4 seconds behind them. They can't pass. Plus, they're racing each other side by side out of desperation.
And that desperation usually leads to trouble.
Look who else in this pack. Bill Elliott, Steve Park, our point leader, Matt Kenseth, and Jerry Nadeau. They're all in danger of being lapped by Jeff Gordon.
And you see Ward Burton in the 22 car behind him. The problem he had a great qualifying run on Friday. Even the pace laps happened so fast here we couldn't explain this. This is looking back at Ward Burton, but he had a crash yesterday in practice, had to go to a backup car.
Jimmy Johnson working on Ryan Newman, who I said earlier, Rusty Wallace couldn't get by him. Finally, Newman waved Wallace and Stewart by, and now Jimmy Johnson is going to take over 6.
There's 43 cars out there, and about 35 of them are all running the same speed. So how are you going to pass? Honk, honk.
Right. You do that once, and then you use that chrome horn, right? That front bumper. Ricky Craven, he continues to move forward in that number 32 Tide car that's battling Jeff Burton. That's a battle for 10th.
And, of course, if you're back there and you're trying to get up to the front, you've got to use your stuff up. You can't say, okay, I'm saving the car. You got to go on because you do not want to go a lap down this early in the race. Craven and Burton are a good example of what we're talking about. The guy on the outside can hold the guy on the inside up forever.
And just ahead of them, Jimmy Spencer trying to get past Joe Nemechek, not having an easy time of it. But Spencer has done well here in the modifieds and in Winston Cup. Behind these 2 groups, Terry Labonte moving up in 12th position. So a lot of experience right in this pack here.
Terry had a great car in the happy hour, and that team just continues this year to impress me. Jim Long and he are really, they got their act together, and they've had some great runs. Look at Tony. I tell you, that's the best looking car here right now.
Craven slid up into Joe Nemechek, banged him around a bit, but they were able to continue.
I don't see any damage on either one of the cars. But Tony's car just impresses the heck out of me. They've really got it hooked to the bottom, and that is a good thing here. Comes off the corner so nice and straight, under power.
Craven just a little bit of a dent there on the right side where he and Joe Nemechek hit side by side. Well, Jeff Gordon is in the thick of it now. Race traffic.
He just caught the 22nd through the 37th place car. That whole pack is right there in front of him. There you see him putting Jeff Green in the AOL car down. He's running right now in position 37.
The problem is they're all running side by side, so there's no really place to go.
And Green's trying to hold on to the tail end of the lead lap. That's the front valence AOL cam on Jeff Green's car.
See the car, when it's under acceleration, the back's down. As soon as he lets off the gas, see how the back kind of comes up? That's the kind of shock package you need here.
Jeff Gordon puts Kyle Petty a lap down. Gordon has led every one of this race's 44 laps. Virginia 500 on Fox is brought to you by Old Spice, by Chevrolet. Wherever there's a winner's circle, we'll be there. By AOL Broadband. Welcome to the worldwide wow. And by Autolite Spark Plugs. It's time to change your plugs. 52 laps, and now it really gets interesting for Jeff Gordon, because right in front of him are a trio of NASCAR past champions and the point leader. Bill Elliott, Bobby Labonte, Dale Jarrett, and Matt Kenseth right in front of the leader.
And they were running side by side, and we were talking earlier, guys don't want to run side by side. The best thing those guys could do was run side by side. There was nowhere for Jeff Gordon to pass.
Anywhere to go, exactly right. But Dale Jr., in the process of all this, has closed up within just a few car lengths of Jeff Gordon. Kenny Schrader, I mean,
amazing.
Larry, that proves that good qualifying effort was not a fluke. The man has been right there. He's in third place and doing a whale of a job.
And I talked to his crew chief this morning, Scott Eccleston. They struggled out of the trunk, but he said every time we worked on that car, we made it better. By qualifying, she was good, and it stayed good.
Now, you see Matt Kenseth go a lap down here. We haven't seen that often this year. In fact, he has finished. He hasn't run every lap on the lead lap, but he's finished every race this year on the lead lap. Dale Jarrett trying to keep from surrendering a lap to Jeff Gordon. Here's Jeannie in Dale's pit.
At DW, I would think this would be your worst nightmare. Not one, but two crew chiefs high atop the box in the 88 pit. I spoke to Richard Buck this morning. Of course, he's there with Garth Finley, and they will both be in the pit. They will be making discussions, having discussions as to what changes will be made. But Richard told me it will be mostly his voice on the radio talking to his driver, so there will not be any confusion. The 88 car complaining that they are real loose off, and they're having conversations about tire pressure adjustments for that first pit stop. Matt?
Jeannie, Tony Stewart still runs in fourth, but he is closing the distance on leader Jeff Gordon. Friday night, he won his first ever sprint car race with a wing. Still beaming today, he showed the team the home video of his win. One aspect of the victory, he was showing his team how he went to the bottom, the high side, trying different lanes on the dirt in Sedalia. That's what he's done here today. He's tried the high side, he's tried the bottom. Right now, he's hugging the bottom. He told his crew chief, Greg Zipadelli, the car has so much grip on the bottom, and that's where I'm going to ride right now. The car very fast.
Jeff Gordon is in a swarm of bees and trying not to get stung right here.
Including Dale Earnhardt Jr. has caught him running in second. You heard Matt just talking about Tony Stewart. Now he's in the same picture as these guys, too.
These cars trying to keep from going a lap down. Blaney, Kenseth, Elliott, and Park.
I believe that Tony will be able to slip by some of these guys on the bottom. He's just so good right through the in and through the center of the turn on the bottom that all he needs is a little opening, and he can slide right in there.
This could cost Gordon the lead. Working lap traffic.
Here they come. And this is when the driver gets real impatient. You get frustrated, and you want to knock somebody out of your way.
And Darrell, what'll happen, those guys going a lap down, they'll fight that leader, but once they've given that lap up, they won't fight that second, third, fourth place car quite as hard.
And everybody, you know, the spotters, the crew chiefs are calling these guys saying, drive hard, stay ahead of that 24 car.
Here's Matt.
Mike, back on lap 27, Jeff Gordon told crew chief Robbie Loomis, I'm starting to lose a little bit of the drive off. And then back on lap 44, as the 20 tries to make the move on the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr., makes the pass. Gordon said the car is really getting loose. So besides lap traffic and having to try to navigate his way through, he's got a very loose race car trying to hold on to this lead.
Well, that 20 car, I'm telling you, he's got that bottom working, and he can go right around him. He's going to go by Jeff on the outside here. It looks like his car is just so much better than everybody else's right now.
A spotter's eye view of Martinsville Speedway as Jeff Gordon works underneath Dave Blaney. Now for today's Singular Wireless Virtual Crew Chief question. Vote now from your Singular Wireless phone by sending text message FOX to phone number 191 or visit foxsports.com. And stay tuned for the results.
Well, Darrell, I'm hearing a lot of guys complain about being loose off the corner. You pull such a low gear here, and we talked about it earlier. This racetrack, I think the temperature is as hot as it's been. These cars are really starting to slide around. 65 laps without a caution, that's when you really lose that forward bite. The rear wheel just will not hook up.
Have a look at this. Close quarters. Jack Sprague, loose.
He's already had his back bumper knocked off once. Sprague has over in the garage area yesterday.
Well, on that one, Dale Jr. would have gotten the ticket because Sprague had stopped coming into the garage. And
it looked like he was going to swing right into his garage opening, but he couldn't make it, and he stopped suddenly, and Dale Jr. wasn't ready for it.
Here's what happened yesterday during final practice. Oops. Little parking lot fender bender.
I love the word anticipation. He was anticipating him going on in, but he didn't do it.
Jeff.
Mike, one thing I've been noticing about Jack Sprague is, he qualified really good here this past week, qualified 14th, but since the drop of the green flag, he's been steadily falling back through the pack right there. His car has got to be, ill handled right now, can't get off the corner. You saw the 31 car of Robbie Gordon get into him. Now, Robbie Gordon, on the other hand, started back in 38, and he's made his way up to 23rd. So these guys are both going in opposite directions right now. Robbie seems like his car's working well. Jackson's going the other direction.
New crew chief on Jack Sprague this week, Tony Furr.
Yeah, he replaces Dennis Connors, and Jack came up here and tested with riding Robbie Gordon in the single number 31 car, but Jack Sprague came up here and tested with his old crew chief, Dennis Connors, and his new crew chief, Tony Furr. Tony Furr was actually hired for the shop foreman job. This is a battle for fourth between Rusty Wallace and Jimmy Johnson, but since then, Tony Furr has taken over the crew chief duties.
And I was up on the truck with Chad Knaus yesterday, and Jimmy Johnson's car looked mighty good on the long run, too. They run a lot of laps, and the car really was stable for him the whole time. Got off the corner good and straight. Got his hands full right here trying to get around Rusty.
The longer we run, the better this thing turns the center. I don't understand this. 4, buddy, 10-4. That's not a bad thing.
Well, and I think one reason, Darrell, is air pressure is a big deal at this racetrack. I mean, I talked to some of the teams. They were starting their left side tires as low as 7 or 8 pounds. They looked like they were completely flat. The reason they start them so low is you build so much air pressure here, and I think a lot of times it takes a while for the car to come in. What that is the air pressure coming in.
Yeah, yesterday we had 8.5. Now, that's how critical it is. Not 8 pounds, but 8.5 pounds of air in that left rear tire. And they said, be careful on the parade lap. Don't shake your truck around too much. You'll knock the tire off the wheel.
Toward the back of the top 10, Kevin Harvick has come from 29th to 10th, and ahead of him, 42, Jamie McMurray. Steve Burns.
Hey, Mike, we've been listening to radio communication down here. Terry Labonte said he's a little loose. Dave Blaney is too tight. Kenny Wallace needs a forward bite. Jamie McMurray is making his very first start. Donnie Wingo said, how's your car? And he said, fine. I don't want any changes.
The moral of Steve's story is pretty much 75 to 80% of everybody out there, they want something. A lot of them want a caution.
Might be a little bit of an advantage for someone that doesn't really know what they want, so just leave it alone.
Well, sometimes you can fix what isn't broke.
That's right.
Race leader Jeff Gordon is in heavy traffic. You'll hear that a lot today, regardless of who the leader is. Gordon's led every one of 74 laps. He has Stewart right on his bumper and Earnhardt Jr. on his flank.
Back in Martinsville, pit stops underway. Jeff Gordon, a little bit of trouble on the left rear. Service complete. They made an air pressure adjustment. A close call on pit road by Tony Stewart and Rusty Wallace. Around the wedge, an air pressure adjustment for Stewart. He was a little free.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Rusty Wallace, that Miller Lite crew, they came in 5th, go out 2nd. That's what you have to do here. Your crew has to buy you some position, just like that Tide crew did for you yesterday.
You got it right, buddy.
Dick Berggren.
Yeah, that was a 4-tire change for Rusty Wallace as well. Rusty left here so fast that he knocked Donald Richardson, his front tire changer, over. No injury here, but knocked him right over. Stevie?
Hey, Dick, Jamie McMurray, as we indicated just a little while ago, came in, made no changes. They had a little trouble getting off pit road, though. Donnie Wingo pointing out that the Winston Cup official was in the way as he watched Kenny Wallace's pit just next door. To Jeannie.
Well, right before the caution came out, Kevin Harvick came on the radio. He was happy where he was at position-wise. He was looking forward to trying to save his brakes. Since he had to come in for the pit stop, they asked him what he wanted. He said, forward bite, baby. 4 tires, and they dropped the rear tire pressure as well, and he was out.
Thanks, Jeannie. We're under caution for Jerry Nadeau's spin. The Army car going around in turn 2. The 0-1.
I mean, these are guys, we talked about it earlier, desperation, trying to get back up there, stay close to the leader. And this caution was quite a break for Kenny Wallace and Mike Skinner there in the 4 car. These guys just trying to get back on the lead lap.
He did an incredible job of a 360 there to keep going. And see that a lot here at this racetrack.
From Dale Jr. on board. Nadu spun almost into his teammate Johnny Benson, and then the two of them almost collided coming out of their pits together. But up at the front, Tony Stewart, Earnhardt Jr., and Jimmy Johnson each dropped a spot, and the reason was Rusty Wallace's great stop.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, there was the real winner right there was Rusty Wallace in that group. You do that all day, you'll pay off.
Old crew chief Jake Elder used to tell me he killed them in the pits.
Here's this week's not-so-secret number in the Be a Grand Marshal per Day contest. Log on to NASCAR.com or FoxSports.com and enter for your chance to win. You'll start the race riding the pace car, spot for practice, wave the checkered flag in Rockingham. And you could direct 100 laps of the race. Sergeant Kepner says, here we go.
Now here's where it becomes aggravating. 28 cars on the lead lap, and Jeff Hammond, there's 15 cars on that inside line. That's what makes it tough if you're back there 5th, 6th, or 7th.
Yeah, Larry, right now it's going to be key for, like, see Jeff Gordon. He's cleared that last traffic, which is exactly what he's looking for. Early during the race, he was able to open up a big lead until he got into lap traffic. And for Rusty Wallace, he needs to do the same thing if he wants to keep close with the 24 car. And talking about Rusty Wallace, I talked to Bill Wilburn earlier this morning, and he told me that he was so proud right now of what he's been able to accomplish with his pit crew, and I think he was able to show that right there on that first pit stop. And he's really got these guys working together. They're fast. They're going to give Rusty Wallace every opportunity here today to win this race because they're going to keep him up front all day off the pit road.
Hey, Jeff, I wonder if it's because Wilburn, got over and changed the tires there for a few weeks, and maybe he said, look, here's what we need.
I think so, Darrell. I think right now that Billy's been able to lose by some example as well as by motivating these guys. And I think Billy's doing a great job. I think he knows what's going on right now with this whole team better than a lot of people give credit for it. Dick Berger, I think you got some more information on that, don't you?
Yeah, certainly. One of the things that Rusty's crew was talking about this morning was just not doing great pit stops, but also not having problems on pit road, because last year in this race, Rusty Wallace crashed with Mike Skinner, and that was really the end of his day. He started 5th as he did today, but that crash on pit road really put him out of contention for the win. So they are watching it, as is everybody else here. This is one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult, of all pit roads in Winston Cup racing.
And the reason for that, Dick, is because so many of the good pits, so many of the good cars are pitting in the turn down there. And when you start out, you forget that there's a wall out there, and you just drive out in front of people, not realizing you're in the turn.
I mean, this is probably one of the most treacherous pit roads we go to. It was one of the last racetracks that went to one pit road, but to do it, they had to make it start over turn 3, goes all the way, comes out on turn 2.
Good battle between Kenny Schrader and Jimmy Spencer. Now dealing with the lap car of Johnny Benson, but they've been hammering back and forth for 6th place here. Now Spencer's going to single file it past Benson, and those two Dodges will probably pick the battle up right where they left off. Jeannie?
Well, for Bobby Labonte, battling out there on the track is something he is used to, but he's also used to being a very nice guy. You won't see much more of that out there on the track today. Earlier, trapped behind the 17 in the 01, he told her spotters, let him know I'm a nice guy, but not here. I'm not going to let him by anymore, and if they keep getting in front of me, I'm going to lay a bumper onto him.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Gene, we talked about a big break for Mike Skinner and Kenny Wallace with that caution coming out. Bobby Labonte and Dale Jarrett. It was a good break for those guys as well. We talked a little bit before that caution. They were about to go a lap down.
The problem you have is when you let people go by you, then everybody goes by you. You want to let a guy by. You know he's better than you are, but you're afraid if you let him go, you're going to get freight trained. And so you try to hold on as long as you can. Don't want to make anybody mad, but, everybody's fighting for the same piece of real estate.
I'm going to tell you what, you're looking at Kurt Busch right there in the 97 car, started back in 36th position. He's halfway to the front. He's up there battling with Bobby Labonte right now. He's in the 18th spot.
And the thing about it is, Larry, we always felt like if we could stay on the lead lap to the first caution, whenever that is, if you can hang in there and stay on the lead lap to that first caution, then you were going to have a good day.
Ricky Rudd, 17, driving for the Wood brothers out of nearby Stewart, Virginia. For many, many years, the Woods would run the super speedways and Martinsville, their only short track stop, because it was their home racetrack. Side by side, I knew this would get good. Spencer and Schrader at it again.
Yeah, Mongo and Carrot Top. Look out.
Right now, my money's on Mongo. Things could change. Oh, yeah, Mongo's much better looking than that.
Oh, yeah.
Fred Lorenzen in 1964 led 493 of 500 laps. Jeff Gordon is on a similar pace. He's led everyone so far. The Virginia 500 on Fox is brought to you by UPS, official delivery company of NASCAR. We want to race the truck. People love the truck. UPS delivers a chance to win 4 tickets to the Daytona 500. Log on to foxsports.com. Keyword UPS Racing.
I like that truck. Flames on it. Good looking truck.
Jimmy Johnson is flying. He just took Tony Stewart for 4th place as Stewart bounced off the curbing here, the inside curbing.
But I'm going to tell you, unless his car just really comes in, Darrell and I were talking at break between each other, I don't think Stewart's car is as good this run as it was that first run.
I think they may have adjusted on it a little bit, Larry. They probably had to, maybe went the wrong way. They'll go back the other way on the next round of pit stop. Because he's definitely loose off of 2 now. That's where he's losing all his time.
Jimmy Spencer and Kenny Schrader are both catching Tony Stewart. Jeff Gordon still with a 1.5-second lead. Dale Earnhardt Jr. now 2nd. Rusty Wallace 3rd. Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart.
Talking about that 7 car that's closing in a hurry. You know, they were really good at Bristol. And I tell you, this after I run yesterday, I said after one time, this is like being at Bristol with no banking. and that car was really good at Bristol, coming up off the turn on the concrete. And that's what he's doing today. He's really accelerating hard up off the turns, straight.
2 drag strips and 2 U-turns. That's Martinsville Speedway. Jimmy Spencer has caught Tony Stewart, Matt.
Spencer has a modified trophy. Would like to add a Winston Cup trophy. Tommy Baldwin, his crew chief, has been on the radio. It's like a recording. He just says, tire management, roll it in, throttle off. That's what they keep yelling to Spencer on the radio. In fact, when he was working on the 49 earlier, Fat Boy, his spotter, said, I see you now. Remember, easy. That's exactly what he's doing. He's just rolling the car through the corners really well. Spencer thinks the track is coming to him.
Spencer around the outside of Stewart. And Darrell, this track has the neatest tradition of trophies of anywhere we go.
Boy, those grandfather clocks, you take great pride in hauling one of those bad boys home. It's the only place I know of that's ever had a trophy like that. And the thing about it is, I've got the very first one ever won, and it's still working just fine.
So do you have 11 grandfather clocks at home since you won here 11 times?
I've spread them around. I've got 6 of them. I shared the wealth.
Now, problems on our points leader, Matt Kenseth. Steve, he's back in 36th position.
Boy, you said that right, Mike. He's led the points for the last 5 races in a row. But on that last pit stop, they took a spring rubber out of the right rear. That's a lengthy adjustment. They made a track bar adjustment. Well, as Darrell mentioned a moment ago, some guys have adjusted too much. Now Matt Kenseth said he can't get on the gas when he's in between the turns, can't get back on that throttle.
Well, what that tells me, like a lot of people, he's fighting loose off. If they soften that right rear spring, don't sound like they're quite where they need to be.
So one of the problems you have is you want to run really low here, but that curve, watch Tony Stewart right here. He hits that curve. Watch the car. It just causes, it upsets the car so badly. A lot of guys, instead of running a solid link on the sway bar, will actually run a chain so that it doesn't upset the car quite so much. See the curve? That right there, when you run over it, it doesn't look like a whole lot, but it'll spin you out if you're not careful.
Well, that's a standard parking lot curve. It's, what, 3-4 inches tall, is it?
It feels like it's 3 or 4 feet tall when you get up on top of it.
And that's actually what happened to a lot of guys in qualifying that had good race cars in practice. They clipped that curve and killed their qualifying lap.
Matt?
Mike, Tony Stewart's dropped back to 6th. The reason they over-adjusted on that pit stop on lap 80, they made a wedge and air pressure adjustment. The car has now gone from loose to tight.
And I tell you that, Matt, we talked earlier about this racetrack being a concrete corner. Something else that happens. This racetrack constantly changes.
rubber starts building up in those corners. It's a little early for that yet, but you have to constantly adjust that race car, even if you have a good car.
Yeah, the thing about concrete, I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago at Bristol. We don't put, on an asphalt track, you put rubber into the track, and it gets sticky and grippy. Concrete doesn't have the pores so hard, you end up building up rubber on top of the racetrack.
Darrell and Larry, I was sitting there watching, and one of the guys that qualified really well here out of the Hendrick group was Joe Nemechek in the 25 car. And right now, he's really struggling, like you were saying. I'm watching him here from the bumper cam on Michael Waltrip's car, and he's really having a hard time, I think, getting his car to rotate in the middle of the corner and get off that corner. Like he's spinning the rear tires an awful lot, but he was really, really fast. He just couldn't quite get off the corner to make the move. He can get turns, but he can't get to him. They'll get by him. And again, he's one of the cars that's falling back into the clutches of his teammate, Jeff Gordon, who's getting ready to come around and lap him.
Well, just, Jeff, you know this. You're down to 55 miles an hour in the middle of the corner. And you're going to turn that race car, Matt, 800 horsepower, and try to get up to 120 mile an hour down at the end of these short straightaways. It's pretty hard to hook it all up at one time.
I don't think he's got his egg. I don't think he's got his egg, Darrell. He's not driving like an egg under his throttle. Old Kevin Harvick right now, he's got it figured out, started back here in 29th, and he's already moved up there to the top 10, running 10th place right now.
Caution is out. Caution's out.
Ricky Rudd has spun at turn 4.
Dale Jr. is going to beat the 24 car back to the line. Now, he let him go. Now, that would have been a violation of the gentleman's agreement.
But not of the rule.
Not of the rule. But the gentleman's agreement was meant for when we're all lined up racing that the guy running 8th or 9th doesn't jump out and pass everybody coming back to the line. That's what the intent was. But as far as keeping a car down, that was up to whoever wanted to do that.
Let's show you what happened. Gordon going way around Ricky Rudd's car, and here they come. And
he realized, you know, that's the gentleman's agreement.
Is you don't race the leader to the line.
Well, not when he's been pushed out of line or whatever. You're taking advantage of him, and there's no reason to.
And I tell you what, all our leaders on pit road, this shows me just how bad this racetrack is, how slick it is. Everybody's pitting, Jeannie.
Yes, that includes the 29 car of Kevin Harvick, looking for more forward bite. Last time the car's starting to come in, just air pressure adjustments this time, and fuel. Dick?
Rusty Wallace has run in the top 5 all day. He has called the shots on this pit stop. 4 tires, no changes. Matt?
And the 7th car has taken his gas can, dragged it down pit road. That will be a violation. The can is still at the end. A wedge adjustment on the 24. Jeff Gordon still needed help with a drive-off. Going to be a costly mistake for Spencer.
And I think what happened, those guys were going to change just 2 right side tires. The guys changed tires quicker than the guy got the fuel in and got the can out. He came out with a lead, but he's going to have to come back in, Matt.
Larry Mack, that was exactly the game plan. They were going to do a 2-tire change on that stop.
And there you see it.
Now that's the overflow vent where a lot of that fuel is coming from, so that as that can is held upside down, fuel goes in the car. It's replaced by air from that overflow.
But the problem is, Mike, he came in running 5th, and now with 27 cars on the lead lap, he's going to have to restart this thing in 27th. He might as well come in and get his 2 left side tires to go with those rights now. And the rule is you can't leave the pit box with equipment.
Is it into the longest line, or is it a lap?
Well, it should be the end of the longest line after a caution.
Okay. Ricky Rudd and Matt Kenseth get together here, Darrell. Have a look.
Going off in the corner here. As we well know, Kenseth is struggling. Ricky just drives in too hard underneath of him and slides up into him, spins him out. Spins himself out. Ricky's trying to stay off of him. Got in too hard, got on the brakes, sent himself around.
Pretty nice save by Kenseth, though. Ricky hit him pretty hard.
Yes, he did.
We're under caution for the 2nd time today at Martinsville, Virginia. Jimmy Spencer's pit crew made a 26th position mistake. He goes to 27th on the restart. Tony Stewart's the leader.
Classic example of beating yourself right there.
Rusty Wallace keeps having a look inside Tony Stewart for the lead.
Well, based on what we saw yesterday, 2 tires isn't going to last very long.
Well,
got to get 4.
And that's the thing. That's how Tony Stewart in the 20 car, that's how he got the lead. They elected after only 35 laps on their tires to take 2 right side tires only. What he's hoping, we talked about how low they start the air pressure. It takes a while for those right side tires to catch up with the left side tires.
Yeah, just grip is the difference in the racetrack now than was it before they grounded is the track is smooth. It's real smooth, and it's really hard to get grip.
Stewart, only the second different driver to lead today. Jeff Gordon was out in front for the first 120 laps.
I'm going to tell you what, though. Jeff Gordon has his hands full right now with that Budweiser car. He just drives by him coming off turn 2 down into 3 and 4 and takes second place away from Jeff Gordon, or third place away.
Gordon banging on him coming off the corner? Looked like it.
He had better forward bite than Junior did.
For the lead.
Halfway up, outside.
Rusty Wallace becomes the third different leader.
I believe that 20 car, Larry, will pay the price for taking 2 tires.
Especially with everybody else taking 4.
Let's smooth it out. Straight up off the corners, looking good.
Craven and Johnson battling for 5th. Behind Jeff Gordon. Steve Park outside is a lap down.
Now see, here's what we're talking about. The car on the inside, the car on the outside can just keep you pinned down. Really makes it difficult. See how they had to bang? That's about all you can do is bang into that guy and say, I want over there.
And it's a long, long way back to Jimmy Spencer, who dragged that gas can down pit road. Here he comes there.
Yeah, he's a half a lap down right now.
And the thing about a guy like Jimmy Spencer, now is when you got to talk to him and tell him to be patient. You got a good car. We'll get you back up there. And you got to really work with the driver right now because he's got to be a little bit upset about what happened.
Dale Jr. around the outside of Tony Stewart, second place.
I take that back. He's got to be a lot upset about what happened.
Now Jeff Gordon realized Dale Jr. was quick, Darrell, and looks like he waves him by.
Well, let's see if we can see any communication here between these guys. Oh, yeah. You're under me, buddy. Take it on down in there. You got the right of way.
And you're faster than me.
Like you might be a little quicker, but I am probably going to come up behind you and let you know that I'm not going to do that anymore.
Is that a good example of what we call big picture racing?
Especially on a fourth of the way through this thing.
Dale Jr. trying to lead the Winston Cup point standings for the first time in his career. He came in here second, and the point leader, Matt Kenseth, is mired back in 37th place, a lap down.
What was it, just 2 or 3 weeks ago, you and I picked up on the fact that Dale Jr. was talking about we gained a lot of points. It's a good opportunity to gain a lot of points. The man is thinking championship.
And his team is thinking championship. I mean, we watched those guys last week at Talladega when the left front was tore up on the race car. They didn't panic. They got it fixed. They got him back up there. He won the race. Yesterday with the garage area situation with Jack Sprague, they didn't panic. They just fixed that left front fender.
That's right. From 29th to 7th, that's been the day of Kevin Harvick, Jeannie.
A little arts and crafts in the 29 pit? Not exactly. Turns out Kevin Harvick burned his right foot, specifically the heel during the truck race yesterday. As the car heats up, the foot is really starting to boil. So they're trying to come up with something that they can put in there to try to cushion that heel. The thought process is one of the pit stops, they'll try to get it in there to try to help them to alleviate some of the pain.
I've had that happen to me, and it's a very painful injury. It doesn't seem like it would mount to much, but you get that great big blister on the heel of your right foot, and it just absolutely worries you to death. You can't push the throttle down, and it takes away from your focus. It hurts. And when you're in pain, it's hard to drive the car like you want to.
And there's so much heat generated in this racetrack. Ooh. We talked about this earlier with the low gear you pull, the brake heat. But I'm going to tell you what, they were not that happy as we're riding with Dale Earnhardt Jr. as he runs second behind Rusty Wallace. They were not happy with Harvick's car yesterday. I have to believe running third in that truck race yesterday helped them with this Winston Cup car.
I was going to say that very thing, Larry, that I think that what they learned yesterday in the truck race, they applied today, and it's really working because he looks good around the racetrack. Dale Jr. is working on old Russell up here.
Yeah, this is the beer can battle, and Jr. is just all over Rusty. He's tried him low. He's looked low. He's looked high. Looking high and cutting low.
You know, Mike, you talked about Dale Earnhardt Jr., big picture racing. He's, right now, of all the drivers, he's been running at the end of the longest streak of races, 32 consecutive races, almost a full season of races.
Well, that tells you they're doing a good job of fixing the car when there's something wrong with it. Also tells you got outstanding equipment.
Keeps working that high groove in 3 and 4.
I think a lot of that, Darrell, is the maturity of Dale Earnhardt Jr. We've seen in past seasons, if the car wasn't right as the race went on, it wouldn't get better. This season, they've been improving that car as the races go along, and he's just improved his position to first.
This may or may not apply, but it just seems right to me. When I was a child, I thought as a child. And as I got older and I grew up, I thought as a man. He's thinking as a man.
Well, I'd like to add on what you were talking about. That's exactly what Tony Erie Sr., the crew chief, but also Dale Jr.'s uncle told me this morning. He's a different driver this year. He's more focused. He's bought land. He said he's even like his father, who was out with a brush hog clearing some of the grass. He says he's just much more focused. He's matured as a driver. Usually, after happy hour, they wouldn't see or hear from Junior until the driver's meeting. He said now he bugs him at night like his dad used to. He'll call him on the cell phone. Last night, called at 9 o'clock. So I just want to remind you guys, do not lose those good set of shocks from happy hour. Those are what I want to start the race on. Just make sure you don't lose them. He is much more focused this year, and it's showing in the points.
Yeah, rumor even has it he gets up before noon now.
Stop it. Jeff Burton running in 8th place. He is the highest placed Ford in the field. And if you've not looked at Ford lately, look again. Back in 11th is his Roush teammate Kurt Busch, and Elliott Sadler right behind, along with Mark Martin. 3 in a row, 11th, 12th, and 13th.
But Larry, you also know that when you're doing well, when everything's going well, boy, it makes it a lot more fun. It's a lot easier to get up and get going.
Kurt Busch has come from 36th, from where he won here, up to the top 10. And he's presently in 11th.
Just that's the way he and Kenseth normally do. They're not great qualifiers, the cars aren't, but they always get good in the race. Now, it's not happening for Kenseth today, but his teammate certainly has got his act together.
Talking to Jimmy Finney, Kurt Busch's crew chief. This is the same chassis, and here we have a battle between Kenny Schrader, Jeff Burton for 8th, but the same chassis that Kurt Busch won with here in the fall. Different body.
On board Ricky Rudd, who has gone a lap down.
And Mike, you can hear how delicately you have to handle that throttle. Listen to this thing. Never really gets it wide open, but just for a few feet up all the way on the straightaway when you're already in the straight line. Working with it the rest of the time.
You know, we talk about mistakes, and I'm going to tell you a mistake. We don't want to count them out, but it has really cost Jimmy Spencer. He's only picked up 5 positions up to 22nd. The problem, leader Dale Earnhardt Jr. is 4 seconds behind him. So he goes from 5th to almost going a lap down in just a few laps.
Yep, Spencer left the pit with a gas can. Bad dog, no biscuit. Deep in the field, 22nd. He's been moving up, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. is closing in. Jr. leads Rusty Wallace by 7/10 of a second. NASCAR on 5 is brought to you by Ford. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
Nice to have you with us from Martinsville, Virginia. Today's aerial coverage provided by Budweiser. Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to win the back-to-back races, and that's the Fox compound as we get a look at just outside the track that they began racing in the late 40s here. One of the smallest tracks and oldest on the NASCAR circuit. Jeff Hammond, lots of green flag racing, only 2 cautions so far, and a guy who's one of 5 drivers from the state of Virginia, Elliott Sadler, has never done well here, and has openly said, look, this is a tough place for me to drive, but he's doing okay today.
It really is, Chris, and we talked to Elliott earlier this week, and he openly says, I don't like Martinsville. I've never been good here. As a matter of fact, this is the first race he's ever qualified for. He's been credited one time for starting 36th, but believe it or not, he qualified 37th, and because somebody was basically, disqualified, he got moved up into the field. So this is kind of like a really good
start for these guys right now. That's the way it used to be all the time. Like, I can't stand it, but they're having a very solid run right now. He's running currently, 13th, but that's a big improvement for him.
Yeah, his 150th career start. And also Kevin Harvick, who was second last week, kind of lost in the shuffle of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s win with the yellow line controversy. And Harvick hoping to get a big win and moving up here.
Yeah, he really is. He started way back in the back also, been very smooth. And I really kind of believe that, yesterday's truck race where he finished third, he maybe got some experience in that. And right now, his truck's looking very good. Again, starting way back. You can see right there the RPM sweep dropping all the way down to 4,500 and up over 9,000 RPM. So you see a lot of RPM range here when you come to a place like Martinsville, and that's why it's so hard on the engines as well as the rear gearing and as far as concerned. He's being challenged right now by Kenny Schrader on the outside.
And, Larry and Darrell have talked about it. The cars go up to, 115 miles per hour on the straights here, and then they have to come down to about 50 or 55 miles per hour in the turns.
That's where you use a lot of braking getting down in the corner, so the guy that can get his car slowed down, but yet not burn his brakes up. I mean, that's very important.
And we're getting a look at the speed right now. Again, Dale Earnhardt Jr., the leader. We mentioned in the pre-race show that he has never led in points. In fact, 67 different drivers have led points dating back to 1949, and Junior finished 8th. That was his highest. He's been up as high as 2nd, but certainly if he would win today, depending upon points leader Matt Kenseth, he could possibly take over the points lead. And his short track program has really come a long way. 2 top 5s here in the last year.
Yeah, it really has. And that was one thing that everybody was kind of wondering about whether he'd ever figure out how to drive a short track. But last year, he showed a lot of people that, hey, he can get around a short track like Martinsville, good at Bristol, and as well as you see right there the 15-car Michael Walton, one of his teammates, is trying to get around Robbie Gordon to get up and get an opportunity to get his lap back. But Dale Earnhardt Jr. right now is doing what he needs to do to get himself in the position to win his first Winston Cup championship.
Rusty Wallace with the most wins at this track of any active driver running second. Jeff Gordon third. Let's go back upstairs, rejoin Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds, and Mike Miller.
Thanks, Chris. You saw our Fox compound. Jennifer Wells runs the office trailer there, and whenever we've got a problem, it's Jennifer, can you help me with? And she always can. Happy birthday, and happy birthday to Steve Burns tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, and see, my sister Carolyn was birthday this week. My niece Alicia this week. Last week was Buffy, Michael's wife's birthday. A lot of birthdays this past week. Mr. France was about a week ago. Happy birthday to everybody had a birthday this past week. What do you say about that?
I'd say that's a lot of that's a lot of candles.
It is.
A lot of fire extinguishers.
Happy birthday to you.
I'm not sure if it's Kenny Wallace's birthday, but he was the fastest car in practice yesterday, and right now he is 19th.
He might
17 seconds back.
He might be like I was. I was the fastest truck in practice before we qualified, and I said, "Ooh, I shouldn't have done that." Because everybody says, "Oh, you're gonna win the pole."
Darrell, Ricky Craven, I believe he may not be up there leading this race right now, but he may be our sleeper, I think, just as he was 2 years ago here when he won this race, a year and a half ago.
We listened in under caution to Craven.
You saw when this thing came to life, and I think that was the tire pressure. But the first 15, 20 laps of that run was pretty sloppy in the middle. Once the pressure came up, still had to brake straight getting in. And my biggest problem is loose getting in. I cannot afford to get any tighter in the middle.
What I noticed yesterday, Larry, is even when those pressures were way down at 8.5 pounds in the left rear tire, the car still drove, or the truck yesterday drove very good. And I could tell almost like you flip the switch when those pressures that start to build, and then the things that get too much air in them, that's when you get the wheel spin.
And once again, I want to explain why they start the pressure so low. If the car's better when the pressure's built up, why don't you start them there? It's because you build up so much air pressure here with the way the heat is, especially with brake heat, that you have to start them down, or it'll build so much air pressure over a long run, you'll hear the driver say, my tires feel like basketballs bouncing.
Yeah, the brakes in the front cause the front to get hot, and then the wheel spin in the rear, all that gear causes the rear to get hot, and that's where the buildup comes from.
Well, Darrell, we're back to where we were after a long run of green racing. The leader, in this case the 8th, Dale Jr., into heavy race traffic.
Yeah, you're between a rock and a hard place. You want to get by these guys, but you don't want to beat your front end up. You know if you run in the back of somebody, close up your brake ducts or your radiator opening, the thing will start running hotter, you'll lose your brakes. So you've got to be somewhat patient, even though your crew's telling you that 24 car is coming, he's closing. Pick it up if you can.
He's working on Joe Nemechek right now, who's the 23rd place car.
All right, Junior's the leader, then Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, and in 5th place, Jimmy Johnson. Here's Steve.
Well, crew chief great job with the low Chevrolet. Our plan was just try to hang out in the top 10 to the last 100 laps, and kind of what we're doing. Going to make small adjustments on it, try to stay on top of the track. So we'll kind of wait and see what happens.
And I tell you, you have to be so careful to try to fix what Chad Canal said that car is, because it's tight, not turning in the middle and then loose off. If you make it turn better in the middle, sometimes it'll be looser off. If you try to make it tighter on the exit of the corner, it'll make it too tight in the middle. A lot of times, though, Darrell, if you make it fix the center, it helps the exit.
Yeah, and you can do a lot with brake adjustment. We got a brake bias valve in there that you can take front brake away and put more on the rear. Sometimes that'll help you get the car turned a little bit. But Larry, one thing that I'm worried about, with so much green flag racing already, I got a feeling that before the day's over with, we're going to see some guys with some brake problems.
And there you see Jimmy Spencer in that 7 car. Remember, running 5th not that many laps ago, had the gas can stuck in the car, left pit road. Here he is about to go a lap down, Mike.
Left pit road and could have been the leader. Speaking of brake, we'll take one right here. We'll spell it a little different, but the effect is the same. We're going to stop coverage, reset, and come right back to Martinsville.
Hey guys, this is Dale Earnhardt Jr. I want to say hey to all the troops overseas, all the guys. You're doing a great job. We're tuning in, we're watching, we're real proud of you. We're really excited. Can't wait for you to get back home and get back to living. Thank you.
190 laps complete at Martinsville, Virginia. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the leader over Rusty Wallace by 9/10 of a second. Jeff Gordon right back of Wallace, Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart. The top 5, Ricky Craven, Ken Schrader. And Gordon to the outside of Rusty Wallace for second place. And goes on. Right along with our leader. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the 4th different driver to lead this race today. And having a look at that roll bar there, Matt Yoakum, who's Trevor?
Well, my drivers give so much of their time and money quietly to different charities, and Dale Jr., one of his biggest charities, the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Yesterday, he met little Trevor Lasardi from Wake Forest, North Carolina. He signed a number of items, and Trevor said, well, Dale, I'd like to autograph something to you. He gave him a little Trevor license plate. Junior said, you know what? I'll put that in my race car tomorrow for good luck. Certainly paying off today.
So far, so good.
And you know something, Mike? Dale Jr. gave a good welcome there to all of our troops over in the Middle East there. I am so impressed. I mean, watching this thing on the television and watching the dedication and the commitment of those men and women over there fighting for our country and the intelligence of all of it. I mean, it's such a, it makes me proud when I see our guys over there working as hard and going like they are. It's really incredible.
I agree.
And what I believe Jeff Gordon in that 24 car, it has come to life. You saw him go by Rusty Wallace just a second ago for second. Now he's all over the rear bumper of this Budweiser car, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 8. I mean, they're running 2 different lines. Jeff Gordon, I've been watching him for about the last 50 or so laps. He's been hugging the bottom. And Dale Earnhardt Jr., right after that last pit stop, he was running the upper groove. There you see Jeff Gordon right to the bottom of the racetrack at both ends.
Remember earlier when Gordon just waved Junior by? Go on, go on. You lead for a while. You use up your stuff. I'll be back. He's back.
You know, I talked to Robbie Loomis this morning about the 24 car, and they've always been happy with this car, but they said it just seems like they never could pay it off in the race. It was always a good qualifier. He sat on the pole 2 or 3 times with this car, but just never could pay it off in the race. But looking pretty good on long runs today.
Sure is.
Remember when our 3 Winston Cup champions were about to get lapped early in the race by Jeff Gordon? One of them, Bill Elliott, did. But the other 2, the 18 of Bobby Labonte and the 88 of Dale Jarrett, not only were able to speed away and stay on the lead lap, but Labonte is now 10th and Jarrett 12th. Jeannie?
All good preparation on behalf of Bobby Labonte. He knew there'd be a long green flag run. He planned for it in practice, posting 80 laps, the most of any car in the garage, and it is paying off now. Bobby, by the way, feeling the pressure to keep up the momentum. Yesterday, one of his good friends, David Green, won the Busch race. Last night, Bobby's nephew, Justin, Terry Labonte's son, finished 2nd at Caraway Speedway in Asheboro, North Carolina. And to top it off, Bobby's son, Tyler, finished 2nd last night in a quarter midget race in Ohio.
Harris. And Labonte moved up to 9th on Jamie McMurray, who is 10th. Jeff Burton, and then Dale Jarrett, who's climbed right up to 12th and hung in there.
We heard early in the race. We heard early in the race when Bobby Labonte said, hey, I'm a nice guy, but I'm not going to be a nice guy all day. Dale Jarrett's a nice guy. They drive very similar styles. But when you get ready to go a lap down, you throw that out the window and go forward.
But you know, as I watch Dale Jarrett here in the UPS car, I can't help but think Richard Buck and Garth Finley comes in this week to look after this race car. Didn't have a good qualifying effort because actually Dale Jarrett lost the brake stuff on Friday qualified. They were about to go a lap down in less than 100 laps. Those guys had to be wondering, oh gosh, what have I got into? Now they've rebounded up here battling to get in the top 10. They have to feel good. This is a brand new race car, untested. Never seen a racetrack, Jeff, until they unloaded it here on Friday.
Larry, one of the things right now you guys have touched on, but yesterday I think is a really good documentation that sometimes you got a better vehicle than you're really showing. You don't really want to run any harder than you need to because you don't want to use your equipment up. When all of a sudden somebody comes on the air and says, hey, the leader is only about a straightaway behind you, you've got to get up on the wheel. And I think it shows right here why these guys are champions, why they're great race car drivers. So they got up on the wheel, stayed away from the leader, and gave the crews an opportunity to work on their race cars and put themselves back in contention. There is a time to race, and there's a time to be a little bit patient.
Well, I can put a period on it. I'm so glad I went to the spotter stand yesterday. I kept EW posted, and maybe I went a period of time and did keep him posted, and I said, the leader's at the line now. There you see the spotters, and he said, let me tell you something you can do a little better job of. Let me know when the leader's coming. It's like, wait a minute, you mean you wasn't trying till I told you that?
You got to save a little bit. It wasn't showtime yet.
205 laps complete. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s lead over Jeff Gordon now to 0.6 of a second. The Virginia 500 on Fox is brought to you by McDonald's, by Viagra. Ask your doctor if Viagra is right for you. By Autolite Spark Plugs. It's time to change your plugs. And by Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Welcome back to Martinsville. Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, Darrell Waltrip. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. has opened it up. His lead over Jeff Gordon now 1.2 seconds. Only one car in the garage, the Team Virginia Chevy for Hermie Sadler of Emporia. Moments ago, a little bit of more than casual contact.
Yeah, what happens here is Mikey gets into the side of the 31 car, takes him out of control. Looked like they were both trying to go the same direction into each other.
A magnetic attraction.
You know what? Possibly Derek Cope coming off pit road could have provoked that Michael moving up because Derek Cope was coming off pit road in the 37 car.
I tell you, there's going to be some tired guys. This race, this is a lot of green flag racing for a short track like Martinsville. Normally we'll run 50 or 75 laps, catch a caution, debris caution, car spin out. We've got a lot of green flag racing here today, folks.
That's right. We've only had 2 caution flags, and the last one was 100 laps ago, as Tony Stewart takes 4th place from Rusty Wallace, who went up the racetrack going into turn 1. The AOL Chevy of Jeff Green going to go a lap down to Dale Jr. Make that 2 laps down.
And I tell you what, we talk about being worn out. Jeremy Mayfield in the 21st position. He just went a lap down to leader Dale Earnhardt Jr. just a little bit ago. And I'm sure what he told his crew is, guys, the bad news is I'm having a power steering problem. We got a report from our pit guys that he's having a power steering problem. His crew chief told him, no, the bad news is there's 300 laps to go.
Exactly.
Dick Berggren.
Well, Rusty Wallace, car number 2, has slid back to the pit position. Mike, I have been monitoring his radio, and Rusty has not said a word about the car not being right. His lap times have been pretty close to those of the leader, and he has not called for any adjustments. Meanwhile, let's put our hands together and give a round of applause for Kenny Schrader, car number 49, qualified well, started in the 4th position. He is running the top 10 all day, currently running 7th. Crew chief Scott Eggleston has been egging him on, telling him what a great job he has done, and indeed he has, and the crew has all day given him terrific stops.
That's big for 2 reasons. At the end of last season, folks had kind of written Kenny Schrader off as a fellow whose Winston Cup career was in its twilight. And people had written off the 49 as a team that couldn't go anywhere no matter who was in the car. All the naysayers have been proven wrong.
Yeah, I mean, this has to be a great shot in arm for this group. They had a great Daytona Speed Week, but this year so far, no top 15 finishes this year. And remember, Kenny Schrader is working on 12 years without a Winston Cup win.
Now, Bobby Labonte joins this battle. It's Schrader, Craven, Labonte for 6th, 7th, and 8th as they lap past Derek Cope.
Schrader just got around Craven, and now here's Labonte looking at him as well. So Craven slide back a little bit now.
Now, Derek Cope is going to be just as fast, if not faster, than these, despite being laps down, because he just pitted for fresh tires.
Got more on coming out of the pit over, and like Larry pointed out, I think that's what happened to Michael in the 31 car.
Yeah, most of our leaders right now are out there with 100 laps on their tires. Here's a battle between Terry Labonte and Mark Martin. That's a battle for 15th.
Steve?
Well, Mike, DW mentioned how this has been a long green flag stretch and how it might be hard on brakes. It is hard for Terry Labonte. He told crew chief Jim Long that he feels like all he has left is front brakes. Jim Long reminding him to turn on the fans. They're going to pit in about 9 or 10 laps.
And again, we haven't, they're going to pit under green at Martinsville.
Wow.
It's like when we saw green flag stops at Bristol. I don't know when the last time I saw a green flag stop at Bristol. And we're going to see them here today. Unheard of.
Kenny Wallace now going for 16th against Mark Martin.
It's like Mark's car is definitely going away. As you heard him talk about, we're getting close to some green flag pit stops. The cars are starting to definitely slide around now.
And the thing that bothers me about the pit stops is now you're going to get guys coming in getting tires, and they're going to be a lot faster than guys on old tires. You get hung out.
And the reason these guys really have to go is that leader is right behind them. And then Kenny Wallace in the 23 car, what he did, he was about to go a lap down. He's decided to come to pit road and make his pit stop. This will be 4 tires adjustments, I'm sure, Steve Burns.
Trust me, come on. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And Kenny Wallace asking his crew chief, Felipe Lopez, are you sure this is the right thing to do with the first car on pit road? Felipe said, trust me. So let's take 4 tires of that 23 of Kenny Wallace. Left side tires going on. And Kenny Wallace is away.
And the problem with green flag stops here, I mean, look right here. This is where you enter pit road. This is where you go off pit road. And you have to maintain 30 miles per hour, so you're going to go a minimum of about 2 laps down. Here's where you go in pit road right here, all the way around, down this front stretch. It's 3/4 of the racetrack, and again, 30 miles per hour, including the pit stop.
So you're going to lose 2 laps no matter what you do if you pit under green.
Plus, you don't have a lot of time to make adjustments. Mostly just air pressure. So if you're not very good, you're going to get an air pressure adjustment, and that's about it.
Right front fender's knocked in pretty good. It's not rubbing, but it's knocked in pretty good. Who's carrying tires are about that pulled out a little bit on stock. No rubs, though. No rubs. Just adjust my air pressure. 10-4.
And what DJ's saying is, don't mess with no fender if it's not rubbing. I need a quick pit stop. Do something that don't take long. Adjust air pressure before I get to that pit box.
Right. Don't rebuild the car under green. Just give me some gas and some tires and get me out of here.
Jarrett racing for 7th place against Kenny Schrader.
And then this is one of the places, again, we're running fast speeds here, but there's a place you can get by with that right front fender like that. It would be here at Martinsville. And I'm going to tell you what, as good as he's running, I wouldn't fix it anyhow.
I would only fix it a little bit.
Well, that looked like your right front for half the race yesterday.
I ran into somebody. I don't remember who it was, Bickle maybe.
There you see Dale Earnhardt Jr., something we've not seen a lot this year either. Just put Ryan Newman in that 12 car a lap down. So now we're to 16 cars on the lead lap.
Mark Martin, the last car on the lead lap. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart. Jimmy Johnson 3 seconds back. Rusty Wallace 4.5 seconds down to the leader. Ten laps from halfway at Martinsville, Virginia. Here's where the Coca-Cola Racing family is running in today's race. Tony Stewart in third, the best of those. And we have 16 cars presently on the lead lap. Mark Martin, the last of them. Ryan Newman, the first car, 1 lap down. A couple moments ago, Dale Earnhardt Jr. having a little trouble in traffic.
Yeah, he's trying to get around Mark Martin, and when you get pinned down on the bottom right there, particularly off of turn 2, I had the same problem yesterday. The car just breaks loose and almost spins out with you right there.
Trouble. Turn 2, Darrell.
Yep.
Around goes Mayfield.
Caution is out, too. Caution is out.
Man, that's going to save Mark Martin. He was fighting like crazy to stay on the lead lap.
He did not stay on it, though, Darrell, because Jeff Gordon put him lap down.
He tried to let him get it back.
Gordon is kind of like a gentleman's C. He did a nice gentleman's job of slowing down, but
that was one of those, I tried, man, I tried.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what, we talk about costly mistakes. Steve Burns had told me during break, our guys, even though you may not hear them on pit road, they give us a lot of information. Kenny Wallace, who had pitted under green because they didn't get the car fuel the last pit stop, now he's 3 laps down as you're riding with him right here.
In the car? No, sir. We had no cans to put in the car.
Now, what he is explaining is that at the temporary fueling depot set up here for the Winston Cup teams, it's been a little slow process of filling the dump cans after pit stops, and there's quite a line. There was quite a line there. So they didn't get all the gas they wanted at the gas pump in time when they made that pit stop.
You saw right there, it just looked like possibly Ryan Newman got in the back of Jeremy Mayfield, the 19. Again, Ryan Newman, desperation, trying to stay within those leaders to get that lap back.
Yeah, but if Mayfield's having some kind of problem with his power steering, he may not have been able to get back to the gas because he can get the thing to cut. That could have caused him a problem.
All right, it's been 120 laps since the teams were on pit road. No line at the gas pumps now, and everybody's coming.
There'll be a line on pit road. You see the green flag waving there at the entrance of pit road there in turn 3. All the lead lap cars will be on the pit road for adjustments, 4 tires, and I'm sure based on Kenny Wallace's experience, make sure it's full of fuel.
Now, this is a timely caution for these lead cars because it was getting close to green flag stops.
Jeannie?
Well, if memory serves Bobby Labonte's crew correctly, plus or minus a few laps, they went 188 on the left side tires to win last year. They'll take 4 tires till the end of the race. Just a pressure adjustment to the left rear. Steve?
Jimmy Johnson needs some forward bite duty. They'll go up on the air pressure in the right side, make a Panhard bar adjustment. Jimmy Johnson says, work your magic. Let's go to Matt.
And they've already made a chassis adjustment on Jeff Gordon's car. Actually, what they did, they backed up the wedge adjustment they made on the previous stop. Gordon's car a little too tight at the beginning of the run, but then starts to get a little loose. A good stop. No adjustments for Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team.
I'm going to tell you guys, Rusty Wallace hopes the caution comes out about every 50 laps. He went from 5th to 2nd on that pit stop that time.
They are working their magic down there today, Dick.
Oh, they sure are. They're doing a great job down here in Rusty Wallace's pit. No special stuff that they're doing. They did put a round of wedge in the car, but, you know, they took 4 tires again, Larry, and that's just a huge advantage to be able to beat all these guys off pit road. Well, so hard to pass on the racetrack, much easier to pass them on pit road.
Well, Dick, if my count's right, he's passed about 13 cars in 3 pit stops, and that's what you have to do.
Four laps from halfway as we have a look at the race off pit road. Gordon. And then it's so close between Rusty and Dale Jr. The Virginia 500 on Fox is brought to you by Budweiser. The best things in life are the things that are true. Budweiser. We've just restarted here at Martinsville, Virginia. We're just past halfway.
Kenny Wallace got up on the curve, kind of got himself sideways, and Mark Martin got into him. And got into him in a pretty good way, actually. And here comes Rusty, nowhere to go. Got a feeling if it wasn't another Wallace in that orange car there, it might have been a little bit more than just, hey, go ahead, brother.
And what that really cost Rusty, Jeff Gordon in the 24 leading the race right now. Rusty's in 2nd, but there's 3 lap cars in between Jeff Gordon and Rusty Wallace. And a lot of distance, too.
And right behind Wallace, Earnhardt Jr., who's led 95 laps today, and Rusty Wallace, the big gainer on pit road.
I mean, that's phenomenal. Those guys, I mean, they in 3 pit stops, they've done that job in past race cars each time.
And that is I don't know what they've done, but whatever they've done, that's a big improvement over what they were doing in the past, because those stops are really like the Rusty of old.
And, of course, we don't want to take away from Jeff Gordon's crew, Robbie Loomis, that group. They keep maintaining the lead through their pit stops, but they have that optimum pit spot just as you exit pit road. Nobody to block them in.
Todd Bodine smoking the left front.
Yeah.
And is going to come in.
Got that fender down on that left front tire. Probably can't steer the car.
Need to document that Derek Cope now is the second car to retire along with Hermie Sadler. So here past halfway, we still have 41 cars out on this racetrack.
And that's kind of what happens on restarts. You always get into the back of somebody and bang your front end all up or get a fender down on a tire.
Let's go to Rusty's pit. Dick Bergman.
With Billy Wilburn, the question, why have your pit stops been so fast today, Billy?
Well, the guys have been working really hard. You know, since the first year, we had a new tire changer come on the front, and we've been practicing quite a bit, and they've, you know, finally come together as a team. I just hope it continues, because it's really, it's kept us in the front all day. You know, we've got a good car today. Rusty's driving a great race, but pit stops have been a big factor in keeping us up front.
They have been absolutely perfect, Mike.
Rusty Wallace trying to break a victory drought that extends 2 seasons. He's under Mark Martin. A lap down, and you saw Kenny Wallace, Rusty's youngest brother, loose up in front of him.
Boy, watch this. Coming off the corner, and Harvick got into the 43. About turned him around.
Right now, everybody's getting into everybody.
And the 43 paid him back with a pretty good little courtesy bump there. And now he's holding him up.
And he's holding up half the field, Darrell. Look at this log jam.
I'm going to tell you what, Sterling Marlin in that 40 car started back in 25th. He's been quietly hanging on the lead lap, and he's up there in 11th. Remember, Sterling did not compete here in the fall because Mike Bliss substituted for him. But, Steve, that old car is doing pretty good, hanging in there.
It sure is, Larry. I just went down to their pits and checked on what they did on that pit stop. They did absolutely nothing. He's been making a slow move to the front. The car's so good, no changes to that number 40.
Of course, that's a brand-new race car, untested, unloaded it for the first time here on Friday.
Well, they must have a pretty good package, because they said they took kind of the same setup, chocks and all, and put it on the 42 car, and he's right there with him as well.
But this pack right here, I mean, they look like the start of the race. It's 2 by 2 for about 9 rows, and they're all behind Kevin Harvick in the 29 and John Andretti in the 43.
Burp, brake, root, gouge. That's what happens here.
Like I said, you want to gas when the other guy wants to whoa when it doesn't work.
And this is a gaggle of race cars right here.
And you know, Mike, you get under somebody. You're better than they are. You get under them, and you need to get back to the throttle quickly, so you can get a jump off the corner. But when you jump in that throttle, you get the back end out from under you, and the guys take off.
Now, Kevin Harvick, he is not waving John Andretti by.
No, they made a lot of contact there just a little bit ago.
Harvick is a lead lap car. Andretti is down 3 laps.
And he just telling him that you're number 43 and I'm number 1, or something to that effect. I think he was just being friendly.
Listen to Michael Walker when he picks the throttle up. He picks it up, and Darrell, you're almost way up on the straightaway before you can even think about holding that throttle all the way down.
That's what I say. You want to get back at. You know, if you can get back to the throttle, you can pass that guy, or you can get away from him. And you hurry up, and when you hurry up, that's when the thing gets out from under you, gets sideways, spin the tires, just kills your lap speed.
Jeff Gordon, your leader, and look at the advantage he has over Rusty Wallace. It's distance and 2 battling lapped cars. While for second, Dale Jr. right alongside Rusty for an instant.
That yellow car there, Kenny Wallace, I mean, he's doing a good job of trying to get up there and get his lap back.
But here comes Junior.
Mike Skinner in the 4 car right now. He's 3 laps down. They barely made it out after that restart. They were on pit road. Gene Zalasko was telling me while we were at break, unhooking a rear sway bar. I don't know if I want a rear sway bar here as much as you hurt for forward bite.
Now the most recent caution at lap 243 for Jeremy Mayfield. Jeannie?
Well, just an update on his condition, guys. He actually lost a belt off the power steering pump. He lost power steering. As you can see, Hermie Sadler doesn't have anything to do. His car is done for the day. He is actually standing by just
depending on the caster. That's what how the car steers. Depending on what kind of caster setting they got. A lot of short tracks, these cars will almost turn into the turn by themselves. The problem you have a little bit is in the middle when you got to get it headed the other way. But they will lead down into the corner by themselves. So he can make it, I guess, if he's in good shape.
May well be how Jeff Gordon won a race here with no power steering. 269 complete. That's 2:31 to go here at Martinsville, Virginia. Caution waves at the 4th time today here at Martinsville Speedway. Jerry Nadeau went into turns 1 and 2, and when he tried to drive off the corner, the car coasted up to the outside and to a halt in turn 3. Nadeau climbed from the car and crawled to look underneath the rear end.
Yeah, I think it's possibly lost a gear or something back there because just like it didn't have any power, you know, like he couldn't get it to the pits.
And I tell you, we're seeing a big puddle of grease. It looks like run out from the back end possibly. I'd say you might be right, and just it won't go. It's locked up.
Some of the lead lap cars pitted, but far from all of them.
Yeah, I mean, we have 15 cars on the lead lap. I think that was a good move. Pretty much Sterling Marlin, Jeff Burton, Elliott Sadler, Jamie McMurray, and Terry Labonte. That was cars at the back of the lead lap cars. It was kind of a no-brainer to me on that.
And Jeremy Mayfield pitted to replace that power steering pump. Let's go to Chris Myers for a Visa Race Break.
All right, thanks, Mike. Guys are with Jeff Hammond in the Hollywood Hotel as you're going to look at our location and inside. Jeff Gordon leading again. This is the 7th straight race where he has led, including today, still no win. And he said 5th in points coming. He said it's too early in the year to panic. We just want to shoot for a top 5. If the opportunity presents itself to win, we'll take advantage.
Yeah, and one thing I can add right about that, if you listen to him after qualifying on Friday, he was so excited. He was hollering on the radio. Can you imagine, you know, Winston Cup champion like that, hooping and hollering just about qualifying on the pole? I mean, he's really getting motivated and pumped up, and I think today is just kind of a continuation of that.
However, the leader at the halfway point, the last 8 times here at Martinsville has not won, and of course Jeff Gordon was. Anything can happen here. You talked about beating and banging, and you know, we talk about the Darlington stripe. Take us through a little Martinsville mayhem as you see some of the drivers who have worked their way around this track and survived. So
like around lap 80, Tony Stewart gets into Jerry Nadeau, and around he goes. I mean, it's just, that's the way it is. Tight racing here. Every time you turn around, 119 to 21 car gets into Matt Kenseth right here. Ricky Rudd goes around. Nobody hurt, but again, you see the 24 car had to avoid him, and he was the leader at the time, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. was getting ready to come by, and what does he do? He shows the gentleman's agreement, backs off, and lets the 24 go back in front of him.
And here Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Rusty Wallace.
Here's where Dale Earnhardt Jr. took the lead from Rusty Wallace, and here again, you see the 24 and the 8 right there. They're racing really hard right now. The 24 is still leading the race at this point in time.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the Budweiser 8 Corp car, but Jeff Gordon leading. Let's take a look at our old lap Spice leaders. As you see, Jeff Gordon, who had led the first 120. Yeah, this is the Old Spice lap leaders. If you're speaking English, then that's what I'm trying to do. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. is second, and Rusty Wallace, who has the most wins here of any active driver. And Tony Stewart, who was leading this race, remember, last year with about, 60 laps to go before Bobby Labonte and the caution took over and won it.
Yeah, it did not. But one thing I want to add right now is I like that Old Spice. This makes you get it right. It's really good stuff.
And Tony, are you telling me that I need to use that? Tony
That's
Stewart.
Right.
Tony Stewart pitches that product. He's probably sweating it out in there. This has been a Visa Race Break. Have we covered all the sponsors? I think we have. We got a long way to go here. Anything can happen. Did you like Martinsville Mayhem?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, that's what that was from the Hollywood Hotel. We'll be back in a moment.
The Virginia 500 on Fox is brought to you by Subway. Fresh-made sandwiches on fresh-baked bread. Subway. Eat fresh. By Singular, the wireless company that fits you best. By Miller Lite. Life is best told at a place called Miller Time. And by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We'll pick you up. Lap 282, and we're back under green after the 4th caution flag of the day. Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. clear lap traffic. Kenny Wallace laps down just in front of his brother Rusty.
You know, Kenny has a good race car. He had been on the lead lap for a long time, and remember, he had to come to pit road for a green flag stop because he was not full of fuel, and the caution came out and burned him. And to add to the list of guys that pitted, I think Kevin Harvick, the 29, and his crew chief Todd Barrier, after they saw a lot of the cars at the back come in for a pit stop, they reevaluated. They decided to come to pit road and get 4 fresh tires too.
I think that was something he probably saw yesterday in the truck race, Larry, how important those 4 tires could be, even if he did have to give up a spot or 2.
It had been 26 laps since the leaders pitted. Matt Yoakum was telling me while we were at break that the 99 pitted for 4 tires, but could not fuel because his fuel cans were not back from the Unocal pumps just yet. So it's not the end of the world, but you don't want to paint yourself in the same corner that Kenny Wallace painted himself into.
And NASCAR limits how many full cans of fuel you can have in your pit. Now, Dale Jr. On his previous pit stop, we'll show you here. And listen in.
We got a small little problem when I come into the pits. You want me to give myself room, but the front tire changer and carrier are standing at the right rear of the 24 car waiting on me to get up there. I can go deeper into the box, but I might not be able to get out.
You keep doing what you're doing.
And I mean, that's a tough call right there. I mean, what Dale Earnhardt Jr. would hope is he has enough room if they beat. Boy, they are bottling up down in turn 1 and 2. Everything's good, though. We stay green flag racing. But, I mean, here they're discussing it. Yeah, you want to go deeper in your box, better for your pit crew guys, but you don't want to go so deep you get blocked in. And in his case, it would be behind the 24 car.
I just wonder if they were thinking if they went deeper in the box, it would force the 24 car to go in deeper. Maybe get his rhythm off a little bit.
Again, these pit boxes are they're so big, but yet so small when you're trying to hit your mark that close.
Ricky Craven ran well early, continues to shine. He is in 6th place, Dick.
Trouble down here, guys. Trouble on the racetrack.
Dale Jarrett got turned sideways, but he was able to gather it up, and everybody continues. Back to Dick.
Yeah, Ricky Craven started in 17th spot. He's worked his way into 6th position, Mike. But during that caution flag, he and crew chief Scott Miller had the longest of conversations. Craven said he has tried every line out here on the speedway, and absolutely nothing works for him. Said he's losing grip across the board. So when they come in the next time, they're going to throw a whole bunch of stuff at that car and try to get it so that it bites a whole lot better. And Ricky wants a wet, white rag, probably to chew on. A wet, white rag.
Thanks, Dick. I think Dale Jarrett just made the big brown save right here.
Boy, he did. I looked up there, and all I saw was 88 and UPS sideways. Got into the side of the 43 car there, or the 43 ran into him, straightened him back out.
I was going to say, definitely straightened him back out, didn't he?
Yeah.
Matt?
Well, Mike Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s crew jumped up on the wall. He came on the radio and said, I ran over something. I don't know what it is. Be ready in case we cut a tire down. And then his spotter, Ty Norris, said, there's a big piece of rubber up there. I hope that's what it was. Junior said it could have been, but I just don't know.
And what will happen, you will get up out of the groove and pick up rubber on your hot tires, and Darrell, it'll make you feel like you have a flat tire.
Well, with some of this contact that we've had here, it could have been a piece of debris, but yeah, that rubber will stick to that tire like having a knot on your passenger car tire. It'll just thump and bump till it knocks itself back off.
I'm going to tell you what, looking at Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s lap times, I mean, he was a 10th quicker than Jeff Gordon was that last lap.
Yeah, he's closing the gap there pretty easily.
Turn 4.
And Jack Sprague goes around. Let me tell you, that started a lap ago. He and Michael Waltrip were beating and banging.
Kenny Wallace trying so hard for the 3rd time to get his lap back. I believe he'll get it back this time. Jeff Gordon let him have it back.
The way this started, Darrell, wasn't pretty. Jack Sprague and Michael Waltrip had contact, I think, 3 times on that lap, and it all ended up with Sprague getting turned around in turn 4. Application of what we used to call the chrome horn when we had chrome bumpers.
Now right here, and we're going to look at the replay right here.
Now that was the last one of 3.
All right, now we see a lot of our leaders come to pit road, so this is going to pay off for those guys that pitted the last time. Sterling Marlin, Jeff Burton, Elliott Sadler, Jamie McMurray, Terry Labonte, and Kevin Harvick, which Harvick's decided to pit again, Jeannie.
Well, again, just a reminder, the 18 cars decided they will take 4 tires most of the way until they get to the end of this race, and then it will be a judgment call. So that's exactly what Bobby Labonte is getting, 4 tires and fuel. Dick?
Rusty Wallace is in for 4 tires. No changes whatsoever. Not even air pressure on this car. It's running so well. Matt?
They're going to make a track bar adjustment on Jeff Gordon's car. He says he needs to be a little more free in the center of the corner, just too tight. A 4-tire change. The 48 car is going to be the 24 and the 8 off pit road.
Boy, they're
bottling up down there on the exit of pit road because all the cars were not by. Rusty Wallace just about got in the back of Bobby Labonte.
I hate it when you come around there and the flag guy's holding the paddle up telling you to stop, and you're coming out there at 35 miles an hour. Need a little blend-in line back there, a little merge.
Three laps to go. As they come back, lapped cars pitting. Sterling Marlin becomes the 5th different leader. Now, you saw all that contact back there at turn 2.
They still have a penalty box here, I've been told.
We may see it before the day is out. Under green with Sterling Marlin the leader. Some drivers stayed out on the tail end of the lead lap. Jimmy Spencer trying to get a lap back on the tail end of the lead lap.
Yeah, he's blocking the heck out of McMurray going down in there. He's trying to stay on, get back on the lead lap, but and then obviously he's very desperate to do that.
Well, and he, you know, we know he has a good car from early in the race when he was up there running in the top 5. Had that gas can hanging in his car, and went a lap down shortly after that. Had to restart the race way back in the pack.
Dale Jarrett made 3 pit stops, and now he'll serve a drive-through penalty for exiting the pits too fast, trying to beat the leader on the green flag.
Yeah, the green flag came out as he was just leaving the pit, so he sped out of the pit a little bit.
And what a drive-through penalty means is he don't actually have to stop in his pit, but he has to go the entire length of pit road at pit road speed. Jeannie.
You know, I think the problem is he stopped too many times. He was getting frustrated. A total of 3 trips through. First time he got 4 tires. Then he came back through and they worked on that fender rub. And then he had to come back in because he was missing lug nuts on the left front wheel. And it was that 3rd trip that was not the charm. And obviously he tried to make up the time, and now he's paying for it.
And Jeannie, he's back out on the racetrack. He lost about a lap and 3/4 just in that drive-through. That shows you how much time you lose here on pit road on the green.
I think you're looking at a very frustrated driver right there with what's going on his race team right now. And this is not helping him any.
So here's the situation in front of the leader. Joe Nemechek, Kurt Busch, and Ricky Rudd on the tail end of the lead lap. The 40, Sterling Marlin is your leader. His teammate, the 42, right there, about to give up 2nd place to Terry Labonte.
Texas Terry Labonte in that 5 car.
Car looks good. Straight up off the corner.
How about tire wear, Dick Berggren?
Well, tire wear has been pretty good, Mike. Brian Newman, on the other hand, has had a real problem with grip all day long. On the radio, he's talked about not being able to get some bite. But look at this tire that came off his car. Just before the caution flag, he radioed into his crew saying he thought he had a loose wheel. It wasn't. It was this tire that really lost its tread. So that caution flag was a lucky thing for Newman. This thing wouldn't have gone much longer.
Yes, it was, Dick. And remember, we talked about interliners and safety shield. A tire within a tire, they do not run that here at a short track.
But that tells you the kind of driver Ryan Newman is. He will burn the tires right off of his race car. He knows one speed, wide open. Larry, I'll tell you something we're going to hear. I bet you before it's over with, a lot of crews are going to have to start servicing the driver, getting him bags of ice, getting him something to drink, getting him some cold towels, because this thing has gone long and hard, and we still got 200 laps to go.
And it's hot outside. You heard Ricky Craven wanting that wet towel to chew on.
Look at this pack, and Jeannie told us that Dale Jarrett did ask for and get an ice pack on his stop. Jimmy Johnson right in front of Dale Jr., pole sitter Jeff Gordon, and Tony Stewart. Johnson is in 5th place. Steve?
And Mike, he did make a pit stop here recently. They just took 2 tires, though. They put 2 turns in the right rear. Chad Canals asked his driver how he felt. He said, I feel great, but just get me out of the traffic. That's why they took 2 tires.
That's not a bad thing sometimes. I mean, you get stuck behind all these lap cars, and we saw Tony Stewart early in the race. His car was awfully good on 2 tires.
Yeah, I know how he feels, because that's how I was yesterday. If you could just get me by some of these guys, I think I got somebody I could compete. I think I got somebody some I could win with, but traffic was so tough yesterday.
Darrell, there's going to be less traffic leaving this place than Jimmy Johnson's in right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's really tough.
Now, Junior just got away from that group, worked his way through it on the outside, then went under Robbie Gordon to get away from that pack.
And again, when I look at this battle back here that starts with Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace, they're about 6th through 9th.
Now, I mean, this has probably been the best race cars throughout this race, with the exception of Dale Earnhardt Jr. But the reason they're back in here is we had a lot of cars like Sterling Marlin, Jamie McMurray, and Terry Labonte that stayed out that time, but possibly they've got a little older tires. These fresher tires on Jimmy Johnson's crew could prevail and just take several laps.
Let me tell you who's coming. Those cornflakes are not getting soggy in milk. Terry Labonte has all but caught Sterling Marlin up in turn 3, and that is for the lead. And again, that's in traffic. There's cars desperately hanging on to the lead and tail end of the lead lap. Nemechek, Busch, and Rudd right in front of them there.
Wasn't it here a year ago when we were pulling for Terry to lead a lap?
Yeah.
That little lap, and I don't know how long it was. We said, come on, Terry, you can do it. And I think he did.
He did. We thought he led one under caution. It turned out we were mistaken, and he finally got to lead some laps here under green, and he may get to lead some today as he draws a bead on that silver Dodge of Sterling Marlin.
Yeah, I think that Ricky Rudd in that 21 car is going to be his best friend right now, because he's going to get a nose up under Sterling right there. Sterling got a little jump off the corner on him, but that traffic in front right there is going to be a problem.
Being told by NASCAR that they are looking at some debris, so that would be a big break for Joe Nemechek and Kurt Busch, Ricky Rudd, and also possibly Ward Burton.
It's a rub strip way up and out of the groove. Jeremy Mayfield has taken his car to the garage area, where he'll join Jerry Nadeau, Derek Cope, and Hermie Sadler, and caution is waving.
And Ward Burton cannot get his lap back because the leaders are running side by side. But Ricky Rudd, Joe Nemechek, and Kurt Busch, they will get their lap back.
Sixth caution of the day comes out at lap 318 for that piece of metal debris up in turn 4.
I think Sterling Marlin and Terry Labonte, also Jamie McMurray, Elliott Sadler. Remember, these are cars that stayed out the last caution. They've decided to come pit road. They feel like they have too many laps on their tires. Kevin Harvick's back on pit road. Jeff Burton, he's on pit road. Remember, when he took 4 tires on, though, he could not get fuel. He don't get painted in that box of being out of fuel.
Steve?
And Jim Long telling Terry Labonte, we have to pit. We need the fuel. Right side tires on, and they will change 4 tires on the number 5 of Terry Labonte. Jack goes up, left side tires on, and Labonte is away.
Jamie McMurray getting service. He was the 3rd place car.
I saw a little smoke coming out his tailpipes as he was coming down pit road there. It's stopped now.
Hey, GW, we just heard on the radio that car may have, the motor may have blown up on the 42.
I thought I saw him as he was coming to the pit lane, and the little puffs of smoke was coming out of it.
Boy, a tough break for McMurray, who's run well all day. Terry Labonte led the last time by. 319 complete in Martinsville. NASCAR on 5 is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Getting set for the restart, working lap 324, the McDonald's Drive-Thru Pit Crew Championship fueled by Powerade. Among the teams that choose to participate in this competition, Michael Waltrip, the leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Robbie Gordon, Jeff Green, and Greg Biffle. The season-long winner gets $200 grand. Pit stops very crucial to the running of this race today. And on the restart, number 8 up there in the outside groove, 3rd row back, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is your leader over Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon.
A couple of guys, 3 guys got their lap back on that caution. The 25, 97, and the 21. Got some guys up here again in position to get a lap back.
Yeah, I mean, you got 4 cars up there fighting to get back on the lead lap. Ward Burton, Mark Martin, Ryan Newman, and Greg Biffle as well. And Kenny Wallace up there trying to get another one of his laps back.
Kenny's got an awfully good race car. He's got a shot if he can just get back to the front, back up there and stay in touch with the leader a little while. Because these restarts, Larry, every time you have one, it's going to knock debris. And somebody's going to run into somebody, knock something off, get a debris caution.
Outside 48, outside.
Earnhardt Jr. trying to put Ryan Newman back a lap.
Did you see Jimmy Johnson? I mean, he had her sideways like on dirt. Saved it.
Johnson battling Stewart. This is for 2nd.
race all day long. One car electing to run the low groove. Tony Stewart, you know, the first part of the race, he was hugging that curve. Now he's running that second groove.
Yeah, I think you get so loose off the 2 over there that you can't really get back to the throttle. They probably have adjusted the car around enough for him where he can run high or low. Because you can run low in 3 and 4 better than you can down here off of turn 2. Of course, you don't want to get a little help from anybody, you know. Here comes Michael sliding up through here, and whoopsie. I think Michael was driving that car Dale Jr.'s over here a couple of years ago.
one that wouldn't stop.
You know, if there's one place you can't make up for what your car don't have, it's Martinsville. I mean, you can't. If your car will only run 12, you can't take it and run 5. It just don't happen. But I'm going to tell you, Dale Earnhardt Jr. up there leading the race. I mean, he's in his 4th season here. And again, we talked earlier, 2 top 5s here last year. I remember his rookie season in 2000. He hit every race car out there, even hit a wrecker that was parked on the inside the backstretch.
Yeah, that's that car Michael's got, I'm pretty sure. Let me tell you, though, his dad, it took a little time for him to settle down and become a championship contender, too, you know.
Oh, he came here a dozen years in a row in late model sportsman, which became Busch Grand National, and it seemed like Earnhardt had a different make of car every year. One year was a Chevy, the next race it was a Buick, the next race was a Pontiac, and the next race was an Olds Omega. And the reason was every race he'd knock the whole nose off it and have to get another one.
And I'm sure he would say it was the car. He just needed to get the right car.
It all worked out well in the end. All right, Earnhardt Jr. now leads by 1.8 seconds, Matt.
Well, Mike, in the first 4 races here at Martinsville for Dale Jr., they averaged a 25th place finish. They felt like they really needed to get a handle on Martinsville if they were going to ever make a run for the championship. So before the spring race last year, they came here to test. He ran 653 laps. They tried so many different combinations. Kind of like a mad chemist, they hit upon some different combinations, mash them together. It's paying off here again today. They ran this same setup last year, deviated last fall. It hurt them. They have not adjusted on this race car at all today. The wedge wrench has stayed on the box.
One thing I know that is a low snout car, Larry. It's a 3/4 low snout, and I don't know if they ran that here before or not, but I know that's what he has today.
That's the type of chassis that just really will work at short tracks where the roll center helps the car turn through these flat corners. About one of the few places left you want to run a low snout. Matt Yoakum.
Well, they've actually run this car here the past 4 races. Same car he scored both of those top 5s here last year, Mike.
Just with a new 2003 body on its same chassis.
Now, Junior leads this battle by 2.5 seconds for second. Johnson and Stewart and Gordon. Rusty Wallace is 3.5 seconds back. Kenny Schrader 4.5 back. Then Bobby Labonte, then Ricky Craven and Sterling Marlin 6 seconds off the lead.
Right here, see how Tony cuts to the bottom right there? For some reason, you get a really good bite. I think they didn't grind the track right around the bottom of the coming off turn 4 there, and you can get a really good bite off there. Now off of turn 2, they did grind it, and it's hard to hook it up. But as you come out of turn 4, off of that patch, that new patch that they put there for the tunnel, cut down right there, seem to be able to get really good forward bite. See the difference in that? See this? That's where they ground it, and that's where they did. This is all the old pavement, and you can get down on that old pavement and and hook up those left side tires.
And that's where so many people get in there and hit that curve because they misjudge how low they really are.
See, and this is where they put the tunnel in right here. That's a new patch right there. But if you get down in here, you can see that's the old surface all down in there, and it seems to really hook those left side tires up.
Battle for 9th place. Now Ricky Craven just gave up a spot to Sterling Marlin. Jeff Burton gets into him just a little bit.
Now Ricky's struggling right now. Watch him a lap or 2 there, and he's not as good as he was early on.
Well, what he's fighting, Mike and Darrell, is the 38, Elliott Sadler, Jeff Burton, Kevin Harvick. All those guys have fresher tires than Ricky Craven has.
And you can't put up a fight. I know yesterday we got in a situation like that. I said, Larry, you're just going to have to let me know when all those guys that got new tires are past me, because I can't do anything about it.
Whoa, Burton and Craven get together.
Yeah, Ricky Craven has about 20 more laps on his tires than all these cars that he's with right here. Looking at Bill Elliott, the 9 car, we've been talking about Jeremy Mayfield, his teammate. He finally went to the garage area. They're trying to repair that power steering problem.
Junior now at 3.3 seconds. on Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, and Jeff Gordon.
They've got a lot of clear racetrack ahead of him, Larry. He's only got Mark Martin up there a little ways. Then he's got a lot of open racetrack, so he's not going to be in traffic for a while.
Of course, Mark Martin in the 6th, Ward Burton in the 22, who's really pulled out in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Those guys want to caution more than anybody. That put them back on the lead lap with the other 16 cars that's on the lead lap as well.
You get a lap down early here, but if you can get up there to the front on some of these restarts, many times you can get back on the lead lap late in the day.
One fellow who's had no luck at all doing that, though, is our points leader. Matt Kenseth got a lap down early, and that's where he's been mired back in 22nd place.
You know, when I think about the points battle we have right now, although it's early, Matt Kenseth and Dale Earnhardt Jr. 1 and 2, don't that remind you of the 1988, 1999 Busch Series championship battles that those guys had?
Junior said yesterday it's pretty cool to be battling Matt again for a title.
He says it's like going bowling with your buddy, I think. But you still want to beat him.
You just don't want to heave the ball at him. 344 laps complete. We're just past 2/3 distance in the Virginia 500. Caution out again at lap 348, 7th caution of the day. Dave Blaney spun off the front bumper of Steve Hart coming off turn number 4. Blaney trying to cut under Michael Waltrip, but there wasn't any room. He wasn't hardly stopped before the caution flag waved, as you see it from Ricky Rudd's point of view. Kenny Wallace got back on the lead lap as he came around.
Of all of our leaders, we only had 2 cars stay out. This is the race off pit road. Sterling Marlin in the 40 car won the race. The reason he changed 2 tires, so Dale Earnhardt Jr., everybody else changed 4 tires. Pretty much, he wins the race off pit road as far as people that changed 4 tires.
And watching that 20 car, you know, earlier do that, Larry, I didn't see that was all that bad, especially once the pressures came up in those right side tires.
And Kevin Harvick in the 29, he's actually our leader because him and Elliott Sadler in the 38, they had 30 laps on their tires. They decided to stay out and keep that track position, but he has 3 cars in front of him, Harvick does, Matt Kenseth, Jimmy Spencer, Dale Jarrett, trying to get back on the lead lap as well.
Let's show you Kenny Schrader's stop a few minutes ago. Schrader was 5th coming into the pits. A little bit of fuel spill, and down he goes.
Man, that hurt. But what I love about those guys, they never quit.
Yeah, that's Jonathan Sherman. He went right on his face here in the pits, but you're right, Darrell. These guys just don't give up. They know they've got a great car. Schrader was 5th before that caution flag. Matty?
Well, Dick, to update Dale Earnhardt Jr., the 3rd straight stop, they have been in the 14th. No adjustment. Meanwhile, track bar adjustment on Jeff Gordon's car, way too tight in traffic. And also Tony Stewart, they made an air pressure adjustment in the right rear. He was just way too tight in the center, free up off the corner. Chris.
All right, this is a Visa race break as Kevin Harvick, your leader, along with Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers from the Hollywood Hotel. Elliott Sadler up behind him. Sterling Marlin running 3rd. We got about, 352 laps through. Some observations at this point as Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. have dominated.
Well, right now, one of the things I'm noticing is you can see Kevin Harvick and Elliott Sadler staying out. It seems like the guys who got the fresher tires have got a definite advantage. So I'm going to be real interested to see whether or not Kevin Harvick, as well as Elliott, can stay in front of the strength of the Earnhardt Jr. as well as Jeff Gordon or Tony Stewart, because these guys have been very, very dominating all day long. And track position is important, but it seems like tires are also important today.
All right, let's go back upstairs and get ready to go green.
Well, this caution flag, a break for Matt Kenseth and Jimmy Spencer. They are now on the tail end of the lead lap in front of Kevin Harvick as we restart.
How many times have we seen this with Matt Kenseth this year? This has happened several times. Mike, you mentioned earlier, he's finished on the lead lap of every race, but I bet you 2 or 3 races, he's been a lap down at one point, made that lap up.
And his car looked pretty good there just before that caution came out.
Green.
With Kevin Harvick behind him in the 29 car, the leader with 30-lap tires, this would be a good opportunity to get that lap back.
And Larry, what that tells you is that they build a lot of adjustability into that car with spring rubbers, and oh my goodness, Harvick just nailed Dale Jarrett.
Well, Jarrett is trying to get back on the lead lap, as is the 12 of Ryan Newman.
I'm
mean, it wasn't that long ago. We only had about 15 cars on the lead lap. Now we're up there on the verge. If we get a caution, we may have 23 cars on the lead lap.
Well, we're in that part of the race now where we're going to have a few cautions. Got everybody grouped up. Some guys are hot and tired. Brakes are starting to give out a little bit.
And some of the cars are, too.
Yeah. Tired of giving people breaks.
Right. Harvick's going after DJ.
Right now, Mike, he's working the bottom of the racetrack where we've seen Tony Stewart work so good. Most of the other guys are working that top groove, that second groove, rather.
Mike, have you ever noticed how when you get hot, kind of get tired, how much harder your job gets? Well, that's the way it is in a race car. Just multiply that.
We're seeing a little bit of smoke come off the 88 car. I think it may be some tire smoke. Remember, he had a fender that was caved in on that tire a while ago. And right now, possibly air pressure not completely built up. It's still rubbing just a little bit. But right now, all he's worried about is getting back on the lead lap. Then we'll fix that tire rub.
Hey, who looks really good right now is Matt Kenseth. He's out in front of this pack. Remember, he's on the tail end of the lead lap, along with the 7 of Jimmy Spencer and the 88 of Jarrett. That silver and black 29 of Harvick is the leader. Sadler is second, and Sterling Marlin is third. Steve?
Mike, Sterling Marlin took just 2 tires. Crew Chief Lee McCall said that should put us with the cars we should be with. He's running third right now. Jimmy Johnson took 4 tires. Remember, on his last stop, Johnson took 2. They took 4 and made a chassis adjustment. They took 1 pound out of the left rear tire. Nick Berger.
Well, Rusty Wallace's first 3 pit stops were absolutely perfect. He passed cars on every one. The last 2 pit stops, they've had problems with the jacks on both of them. 2 stops ago, the jack didn't go up high enough. This one, they couldn't get the jack quite under the car, and that has cost Rusty positions.
You know, Darrell, the only thing I would question, we're 140 laps to go, of not having 4 tires on that car now, it almost forces you, and we'll probably have more cautions, I think. Some of those guys that changed 4 tires there, they may try to run as we got a battle for the lead here. Elliott Sadler on the outside of Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, Harvick got into the curve coming out of turn 2. That allowed Sadler to get a run.
It allowed Ryan Newman to get back on the tail end of the lead lap in the 12 car.
It's got to be exciting for Elliott Sadler, because you heard him on our trackside show that night. I hate this spot. Never liked this.
But he got trapped behind his teammate over in turn 2, allowed Harvick to get back beside him.
Now he likes the track and doesn't like his teammate.
Well, Ryan Newman washed up into Jarrett, and Sadler had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
But look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 8 car, the Budweiser car, 4 fresh tires. He says, I'm going to come up here. I want this lead.
Yeah, don't look too far behind you, because here comes that old orange Home Depot car, number 20, slipping into the picture.
And they're going by Sterling Marlin again, who has only 2 tires. But all I was saying, Darrell, I believe I wanted 4 tires that last caution. That way I may only be able to change 2 later on in this race.
Always like to get them under caution, Larry. You can get them in. That's the best time.
This late in the race especially.
For second place, Junior on the outside of Harvick.
And again, the tires seem, the 10 car just about went around. Tires seem to be, the 10 car's got a left rear down, guys.
And he can't hardly get the pit road because so many cars is coming at him.
Now he'll make it.
There he goes.
Meanwhile, for the lead, there's Benson going to limp in and lose a couple of laps changing that tire.
I think he got that knocked down. Somebody got into him and knocked it down.
Boy, why Elliott Sadler, Dale Earnhardt Jr., they're battling for the lead. That's really a break for Matt Kenseth. He just continues to pull away out there trying to get back on the lead lap, as well as Ryan Newman, Jimmy Spencer, and Dale Jarrett.
Ryan Newman's the one that lucked out, because they had him passed. And then they got to banging on each other over there, and he got back around them.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., he turns that car to the bottom. Just can't quite get the fight off turn 2 to battle Elliott Sadler for the lead.
And the nice thing is you watch Stewart inside of Kevin Harvick. The nice thing about where Kenseth is, he's running his own race, not using up his equipment. He's all by himself.
Clean air. We talk about clean air. It means as much here as it does anywhere when you got that nice clean air going into those brake ducts, into that radiator.
I'm going to tell you what. The guy that has led 176 laps, he's kind of been out of the picture through all this off-sync pit stops. Jeff Gordon, that 24 car, he pulls inside of Sterling Marlin. That's the battle for 5th.
But, Darrell, I agree. The happiest fella here has got to be Elliott Sadler. His best Martinsville finish in 8 starts is 17th. And here he is running second and chasing the lead.
Yeah, well, we said, you know, earlier in the show, he's never really qualified for the races here. He's been in a provisional situation every time, so he's having a great day. He and little Raymond Fox, he's really pumped up about his race team and what Raymond's doing. That's good news for everybody on that team, bad news for the guy we're looking at right there with smoke coming off his fenders. I think that's put a lot of pressure on that team, the 88 team.
Tell you what's bad news for a lot of guys is what I'm seeing with that 24 car. Jeff Gordon pulls the inside of Kevin Harvick. That's now a battle for fourth. Remember, Harvick has 30 laps on his tires. Jeff Gordon pitted that last caution for fresh tires.
Gordon has led 176 laps, the most of any driver today. Started from the pole, and this morning was the consensus favorite. But Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads this race with 130 laps to go over Elliott Sadler and Tony Stewart. Virginia 500 on Fox is brought to you by Visa. Visa.com/NASCAR for an incredible NASCAR offer. Our leader just put a lap on the point leader. Well, or did he? He did, and then he didn't.
I say he will right here because he's got that low line. He gets down and gets that good bite off the turn 4. Watch that thing come out of there. Well, if you can get your car down there and make it cut, get good bite, get good traction right there.
I tell you what, a guy that's leading this race not too many laps ago, I think he is paying the price for those 30-lap tires now. Kevin Harvick in the 29 car, he just got passed by Jeff Burton and Bobby Labonte, so he has slid back to the 9th position. I just think, and there you see he's going to lose another position to Greg Biffle in the 16. Actually, Greg is still a lap down, but he's sliding backwards regardless.
So Matt Kenseth and Jimmy Spencer have now gone a lap down, once again, to Dale Earnhardt Jr. And a little bit of frustration showed in the voice of Elliott Sadler as he had this discussion with his pit crew.
You want to pit or not? Yeah, pit. Too late, Hoss. You got to let me know something. Can't put on me calls a late lap. We need to know when to pit. Simple.
And that happened when the last caution came out. And I'm going to tell you what, Darrell, you have to make a fast decision here as a crew chief. Most places, the caution comes out, you have a full lap to make your mind up because of where the entrance on pit road is, turn 3, not much time to make that decision.
No, but the driver really, he needs to know because he has to kind of prepare himself to come to pit road. It's another one of those incidences where you want to know that the crew and you are on the same page. That when they want you to pit, that you know you're going to pit and they know you're going to pit.
Let me tell you who ain't on the same page, wasn't on the same page. Tony Stewart Mongo. I think he just gestured to him, look, don't hit me again. I'm a lead lap car and you're not.
Darrell and Larry, one of the things I'm kind of curious about, kind of watching the guys' lap times, everybody's picked the pace up here with about 116 laps to go. And the one big question here at Martinsville, as always, is who's got the best brakes here at the end. We've been running pretty aggressively all day long, and who has used these brakes up and abused them the most is kind of like what I'm interested in right now.
Well, Jeff, some conversations down in the 20 pit during that caution. Tony Stewart said his car, it takes a little bit to get going. The car is much better at the middle, the end of a run. Jason Shapiro, the brake specialist, said, Smoke, how are the brakes? And Tony said, I think these brakes are the best we have ever had here. I have so much pedal left, you have no idea. Of course, if you're a brake specialist, especially in Martinsville, which is so brutal on brakes, that makes you smile big time. But Shapiro did say, Tony, let's not talk about it again. I don't want to jinx us.
Yeah, one thing I noticed yesterday, the brake package that we had on, the pads are a lot thicker than they used to be. Wear was the big issue here. You'd wear them out, blow the pucks out of the calipers. That's kind of the big, thick pads that fix that. The rotors are much beefier than they used to be. They got better air fins in them to keep them cool. The ducts, all the duct technology that we're using to cool the brakes, that is a lot better. The fans and everything that blow the air into the brakes. So everything is better than it used to be.
And Darrell, for a rotor to go through this, remember, 1,000 times, 500 laps, once at each end, I mean, things have to be good, especially the cooling, because as we mentioned earlier, it looks like molten lava there. That's happening twice a lap.
And look, it doesn't really ever, it hardly ever stops glowing, even on the straightaway.
It's always struck me funny that at the smallest track, we run the biggest brakes. And then, of course, at the biggest tracks, we run the little small brakes. Dick Irvin.
Well, one of the new technology things that's happened here this weekend, Mike, is that some of the brake pads have actually got a hole in them, an air circulating hole, and that helps them cool off. And most of the teams now have directed fresh air, vented it right to the tire itself. Remember when tires used to fail here when the beads would get too hot? Not anymore, because now they've got a vent with a blower on it that goes right at the bead.
Yeah, the good thing about that, also, it's cooling that tire down some, Dick, and keeps the air pressure from building as much as well.
See much of a difference, Larry, in the brake cycling between Dale Jarrett on the left and Kenny Wallace's right front on the right?
And again, this could be a product left foot breaker, right foot breaker, Darrell.
Yeah, it's what I was talking about in the early part of the show there. A lot of guys like to use their left foot. You're going to use more brake if you do. And Junior always made me tie my foot down and just use my right foot for gassing and braking.
Well, and one other thing to keep in mind, too, for the guys that are up in front, they have clean traffic. They're not trying to bump and gouge their way back in lap traffic. That allows them to not abuse their brakes so much.
And I tell you, another thing, if a car is pushing and not turning, Darrell, and the driver drive me crazy when he starts doing it, but his job is to do whatever he has to do to make that car go fast. You'll use that brake pedal to make that car turn a little bit.
Not a good idea here.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to put Ryan Newman a lap down. Jr. now has a 2-second lead on Jeff Gordon with 107 laps to go. The Virginia 500 on Fox is brought to you by New Quaker State, the power to reduce friction. By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of NASCAR. By the Home Depot, NASCAR's home improvement warehouse. And by Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar, eating good in the neighborhood. 99 laps to go at Martinsville. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads 4 Chevrolets. Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, then Elliott Sadler's Ford, the Chevy of Bobby Labonte, and the Dodge of Sterling Marlin.
Larry, I'm just so impressed with Dale Jr. I mean, he takes his time. He's not roughing anybody up. He's not forcing the issue. He just takes his time. Even though Gordon was closing, he took his time with Newman and got around him clean, didn't get into him or anything else.
Yeah, I mean, Newman definitely dealt him a fit for a while, but he used that patience.
Junior's lead now 1 second over Jeff Gordon. Here's a look at yesterday's results of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Brought to you by Sears. Dennis Setzer the winner over Ted Musgrave. Interlopers, truck whackers, Kevin Harvick in third and Darrell Waltrip in seventh. Darrell is 35th in the points, by the way.
Yes, after one race.
For those of you that are counting points, and I didn't know you were, Bobby Hamilton and Rick Crawford are the point leaders.
A lot of points battle. Dennis Setzer, that's 2 races in a row here at Martinsville, plus 2 in a row on the Craftsman Truck Series. Well, Marin a couple of weeks ago.
Talking about points, you do the math. You said, well, now, if I ran them all and I'm 35th now, where would I be, you see?
Not sitting next to us most Sundays. How about that?
Remember, the higher you go, the harder it gets.
Yeah, I do know that. You're talking about up the food chain, right?
Here's the interval from Junior back to Jeff Gordon. 2 lap cars in there, Tony Raines and Ryan Newman.
Yeah, when he was battling Ryan Newman just a few laps ago, and you see Jeff Gordon battling Ryan Newman as well, he had slowed Dale Earnhardt Jr. down to 2180s and 90s. Now Earnhardt Jr. is back to running 50s and 60s.
But he's not going to be for long, Larry, because Junior is coming up on a big pack of traffic.
A lot of cars are still on the lead lap, and that makes it even tougher.
Just a lot of guys, what I would call lurking back there right now. Tony Stewart's back there, the 48 car, Jimmy Johnson. There's a number of cars that are just looming in the background.
Yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is fixing to catch Ward Burton and Joe Nemechek that just actually made their lap up just a few laps ago. Plus, Kurt Busch got sideways a while ago. Now he's in verge of going a lap down in the 97 car.
When you get down here near the end of the race, and we're closing in on that now, we're inside 100 laps to go, you start using up what you got. If you've been holding back anything, you start driving it in a little bit harder, using a little bit more brakes, get back in the gas a little quicker.
We talked about what you got. How about what you're going to get? Are you going to need another pit stop?
Well, you know, the guys that actually were on pit road at lap 348, most of our leaders, should we go green, they can make it. But like people like Kevin Harvick and Elliott Sadler, they will not be able to make it. I won't say not. You taught me not to say not, DW, but the math says they can't.
I think they'll be going so slow that they hope they can make it.
Things are pretty well spaced here among the top 5 as you go through Jimmy Johnson back to Tony Stewart. And then Tony Stewart has 3 seconds, make it 4 seconds now, on Elliott Sadler. the 5th place car. Here's Sadler. Lurking is a big term in the online computer world. It's people that look at all the postings on the news groups but never post a message themselves. Like,
well, that would not. There's somebody here that's lurking, may be aiming to post a message.
I think so.
Before the day's over with.
Okay. Sterling Marlin there in 7th place. You saw Bobby Labonte 6th, Marlin 7th, and Jeff Burton in 8th. When we get to Burton, we're going to be 11 seconds back of the leader.
And Mike, at my house, lurking is when my fax machine runs out of paper.
Ah, I see.
I have messages lurking inside my little machine.
Okay. Rusty is 9th. He is 12 seconds off the lead. Look at the experience in this group. Rusty Wallace 9th, Ken Schrader 10th, and then Terry Labonte 11th.
And as Dale Jr. works some traffic up here, Rusty and Kenny Schrader battling each other. One thing about being the leader, you got to get to the traffic first, and the people battle you harder.
And we've talked about 2 tires versus 4 tires. See, Terry Labonte still on the lead lap in 11th. Kevin Harvick was leading this race 60 laps ago, elected to stay out. It took our leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr., 60 laps to go by him with those 4 fresh tires and put a lap down.
Paid the price for leading that little bit of the race he did there.
Well, Harvick's strategy needed one more caution flag between then and now.
That's what they were banking on.
Yep. Well, we've had 7 cautions, and all between lap 100 and lap 348. But Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the first of 15 cars on the lead lap. Welcome back to Martinsville Speedway. 77 laps to go with Jr. leading Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, Elliott Sadler. Here's some of our Budweiser aerial coverage. And the rail line that right now runs along the backstretch is going to be moved so Clay Campbell can build more grandstands back there, and more folks can come and enjoy Winston Cup Racing short track style. On the half-mile paperclip-shaped Martinsville Speedway, where Junior right now has a 0.7 of a second lead is all.
Yeah, she's looking more and more like Bristol. They get the grandstand all the way around her. Look like Bristol, look like Richmond. Is what you can do with a short track.
Well, Mark Martin in the 6th car, he fought forever to get his lap back, and now he goes back a lap down to Dale Earnhardt Jr.
All right, let's show you how not to get your sponsor's decal on TV.
Ricky Craven in the 32. We're looking out the back of Robbie Gordon. Oops.
Like that.
Yeah, but you see, you want the back of the car to do that. You want the back of it to fold up. That way it doesn't spin you out, it doesn't hurt you. You just don't want the front to do that. Now what Ricky might want to do is run up there and hit it one more time, maybe fly off and get a caution, because if he doesn't, he's going to go a lap down.
He's only about 5-6 car lengths ahead of leader Dale Earnhardt Jr. And we have been told that NASCAR has told the Robbie Gordon group, Kevin Hamlin, that group, Singler car, fix it next time you're on pit road.
Jeff Gordon is closing.
Speaking of lurking,
yes,
he is back there lurking, and he has been consistently just a few 100s quicker than Dale Earnhardt Jr. Where it really catches him is when our leader catches that traffic.
Remember the finish in Texas for second place? Junior and Gordon banging side by side to the line, and one of them said, I think it was Gordon, said, well, if that had been for the lead, we might all have wrecked.
Or I'd have definitely raced him differently.
That's more what he said. We just interpolated it to mean would have been big.
I think it means the same thing.
I think you're looking at 2 guys that got the big picture in mind, though. I think they're thinking about the championship. Both of them are. They're not going to do anything that's going to jeopardize that, I don't believe. So they're going to race smart.
Craven surrenders a lap to Junior. With all the success that DEI has had on the restrictor plate tracks, they have only 1 short track win.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. and
Clear.
Virginia.
Boy, Craven and Earnhardt Jr. Dale Jr. went in hard underneath the Craven and slid up and took them both up the racetrack.
That's like I'll clear myself, thank you.
That puts us to 13 cars now on the lead lap.
24's got that look off the turn 4 there, Larry. Him and the 20 car, they get down in it. They get way down on that old pavement.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that Budweiser car, he's running that second group just as he's been doing most of this race.
Watch him here off the turn 4. He goes up high here, but watch Gordon. Here he comes right down on that old pavement. and he really gets a nice jump out of there.
It looks like Jeff Gordon gets a much better jump off turn 2, though, than he does turn 4.
Well, that turn over there is looser, and I think Dale Jr. is moving around here a little bit, trying to find a little bit better line off of there so he doesn't jump sideways so badly.
Now, Darrell, that high line Junior's running, is that easier on the tires than cutting it down to the bottom?
Well, if your car gets a little bit loose, you got a little bit better chance of hanging on to it up there. You get down around the bottom, pinching it around the curve, it'll want to jump out from under. You get a little bit different angle off of that corner over there, it'll stay under you better. And sometimes you know you can do that, and you know you're holding a little something that you don't want to show the guy behind you, but when it comes time, you move up there and do it.
This is a battle right here between Bobby Labonte and Elliott Sadler. Bobby Labonte goes by the 38 car. That's for 5th place. Remember, Elliott Sadler, he has 30 more laps on his tires, but as we draw near to the end, I don't want to speak too soon. We're about 65 laps from the end. Remember, Elliott Sadler in the 38 car, he would have to pit for fuel, at least at the end, near the end.
Spin in turn 2. Ryan Newman. And it is a caution flag.
Caution is out.
And it flew right on the roof of Dale Earnhardt Jr., so if he got the caution, nobody gets a lap back. And did Junior get the caution?
He didn't get it. I didn't see him get it myself. I think if Craven will hustle back around here, he'll get back on the lead lap.
If he didn't get it, he will get his lap back.
Dale Jr. was way past the start line. Now, Jeff Gordon was coming to the line.
The 32's already taken the caution. NASCAR is telling him right now. Junior didn't take it, but the 32 car did.
So let's explain that. You can only take the caution flag once. And even though it waved over the roof of Earnhardt Jr., he had not taken the caution. He was past the line, but since Craven had, he wasn't eligible to race Junior back.
That's a semi-freezing the field kind of thing, sort of.
Now, Jeff, we're going to be about 60 laps from the end of this thing. Most of these cars have a lot of laps on both sides. I know we've seen 2 tires work, but I just believe if I'm anywhere near the lead lap or on the lead lap, I want 4 tires to race this thing to the end.
Amen, brother. 4 tires. I don't want to hear any kind of argument, discussion about it. Get in here, get you 4 tires. Let the driver go up there and get what he wants.
May I just say, give me your 4 best tires, too.
Absolutely, my friend.
Mike Tony Stewart again gamble with 2.
I just think this racetrack is not as in good a shape as it was earlier. I think you have to have 4 tires. Steve Burns.
And Jimmy Johnson's going to get 4 tires. They talked about making a track bar adjustment. Jimmy said, leave it alone. Just give me the tires. They made an air pressure adjustment for forward bite. To Matt.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s in. They're not going to make any adjustments on the Budweiser car. No adjustments on Jeff Gordon's 24. Doesn't appear to be any adjustments on Tony Stewart's car. Everybody just going 4 tires. The race off pit road. Looks like the 18's going to get the 8.
Now, our guys, I'm sure, give us information, but I have to believe Bobby Labonte that he took 2 tires. You can look at the race off pit road. Look right there, 40.5 seconds. Jeannie had to be 2 tires.
You are correct. The conversation coming in, Michael Fatback McSwain saying, do you want 4 tires? You want track position, buddy. So the decision was to go for the 2 tires. That's exactly what they did.
In Bobby Labonte's case, I like that strategy. Where he was, what did he have to lose?
He won this race doing that.
He ran, what'd you say, Jeannie, 188 laps on his left side tires last year, or last time he won it? Pretty good.
And, of course, what he's going to be out there, clean racetrack for most of these final 60 laps. That way he can run where that car wants it to run.
A beautiful spring day and a packed house. Every seat sold at Martinsville Speedway. Let's do a little Pepsi fan cam here.
We're having a party, dancing to the music.
NASCAR Winston Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. They will restart with 57 laps to go. Bobby Labonte snookered them all by taking 2 tires to gain track position, and he beat Jeff Gordon out of the pits and Dale Earnhardt Jr. by a narrow margin, so he is the leader. Ryan Newman has taken his car to the garage.
Really good strategy. Only thing I don't like, Larry, and we saw this a couple of times, takes a lap or 2 or 3 or 4 maybe for those pressures to equalize, those right sides to the left. That could hurt him with these guys jumping all over him here on this restart.
The thing he'll have going for him, though, he's out there in clean racetrack. And as long as he'll clear Ricky Craven, who's going to be fighting hard to get back on the lead lap, he'll be okay. Gets a good restart, a good jump. 58 laps to go.
Bobby Labonte got out way in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Craven takes Jr. up the hill and back.
I mean, they are 3-4 wide down the backstretch because of that. But boy, what a break for Bobby Labonte.
Middle, come down to the middle. Got one inside.
Boy, Craven must have a tire down, guys, because he is just, or else he's picked up a lot of debris.
Something I think did happen to him, Darrell. Even coming to the restart over in turn 3, he almost stopped for a second.
I think he's got a right front tire down, Larry. Yeah, it is.
He's having a heck of a time getting to pit road because so many cars are going by.
Hold your line.
He's got to get to pit road, and he can't.
And that really cost Earnhardt Jr., who was falling to 5th.
Boy, what a break for Bobby Labonte. Not only does he now have a 1 3/4 second lead just after 3 laps, there's 2 lap cars in between him and Jeff Gordon, Johnny Benson, and Mark Martin back there battling Jeff Gordon.
Well, Craven is going to end up in the fence.
He is in the fence.
Turn 1.
Caution's out. Come on, guys.
Caution is out. Caution is out. Nobody will get a lap back.
9th caution of the day. Lap 446, and because now that's an old New England short track trick. You roll up to the wall and you stop to draw the caution and then you scoot away. That did not escape the attention of the NASCAR officials, and there will be, I believe, a penalty forthcoming for Ricky Craven.
Pit road is closed, but I don't look for anybody to be coming. Track position much more important now.
The NASCAR season in full throttle, and all the action is covered across the Fox network. We'll be at Fontana, California next Sunday on Fox, and then move to FX for nighttime coverage, Saturday night coverage from Richmond and from Charlotte. Excuse me, Easter Bunny next Sunday. That's right. California in 2 weeks. Ricky Craven spent 1 lap in NASCAR jail and now comes back onto the Speedway, and we're set to go racing. He was a bad boy. Bobby Labonte's car is the color of money, and he is the race leader over pole sitter Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, and Dale Jr.
Ready.
It wasn't that long ago, beginning of this race, he was on the verge of going a lap down. It's a good restart again. He is on the money on these restarts.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon was right there with him, but Bobby really just hustled it off into turn 1.
He has that clean racetrack. We'll have 48 laps to go this time by.
Everybody's searching for that bottom right now, so that's where you make the most of the best time. Run down there as long as you got fresh tires on, then you may have to move around later, but looking for the bottom.
You know, this is about the time of the race last year that Bobby Labonte took the lead. He didn't lead last year until lap 371. Went on to win it. The big difference, last year he started 39th. Today he started 15th. Vice versa. He started 15th last year, took a provisional, started 39th today, and came all the way to the front.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., he's trying to clear the lap car of Johnny Benson. He's running back there in 5th after that contact on that restart before this lap. Riding with him right here.
Here we go, all clear.
You know, Jeff, I know we've talked about 2 tires or 4 tires. That's a long way to go, 50 laps. And I'm watching Jeff Gordon. He is reeling Bobby Labonte in. He's faster right through the center of the quarter. But Darrell and I were talking earlier, Bobby Labonte has that clean racetrack where he can predict his line.
Yeah, but the thing is those 4 tires will overcome those 2. I'm pretty sure of that. And but it was a good call. I mean, look what he did. He got him the lead. Gave him a chance, and he didn't have a chance before that.
But Darrell, I think right now what's going to happen, once Jeff Gordon gets to him and starts to really work on him, and he gets up underneath him, which I think is what's going to happen here, I believe you'll see Jimmy Johnson and a couple other guys. Now you see Jeff Gordon looking outside. That's what you can do with 4 tires. You can drive your car in more places and find where the grip is as Jeff Gordon right now looks inside of Bobby Labonte. And I really believe once he gets under him, several other guys will take advantage of him. We'll see bye-bye to Bobby Labonte.
I mean, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon's teammate in the Lowe's 48 car, he wants to get up there when Jeff Gordon pokes that hole. He can take advantage of it as well. See, when you're on 2 tires,
you kind of go where the car wants you to go. That's a little bit more. When you're on 4 tires, you can go the opposite way the guy in front of you goes. He goes low, you can go high. He goes high, you can go low.
No saving anything now, right?
Oh, no, baby. Just get up on the wheel, use up them brakes, use up that bumper if you have to.
And what we have to remember, Bobby Labonte has not been in the top 5 all day long. That move, if it don't win the race, and it still could, he still leads this thing, it'll probably buy him a better finish than he was going to have if he just followed the leader.
Watch the Busch race last night, the 21 payday car over there with driving it this week? Johnny Sauter. He finished second because of good pit strategy and hadn't been in the top 10 all night.
For the lead, Jeff Gordon, who led 176 laps thus far, battling Bobby Labonte, defending champion. Gordon, today's pole sitter.
As long as Bobby can accelerate up off of the track, off of turn 2 and 4, a lane up off the bottom, he's in the catbird seat.
It almost looks like Bobby's running a lower groove in 1 and 2, a little bit higher down in 3 and 4. And he ran the bottom in 3 and 4 that time.
You got to run the bottom right there. You got to come off there real low. The problem is, the biggest problem here is getting off turn 2. That's where you pay the price.
Tony Stewart for third.
Right there, you get loose.
Third place, Tony Stewart is alongside Jimmy Johnson.
Well, we got two teammates. We got the 20 and the 18 running first and fourth. You got the 24 and the 48 running second and third. Well, they changed a little bit that lap.
See that lap right there, though? Tony Stewart, he had the fastest speed that time. We have so much racing up there between the top two, Bobby Labonte and Jeff Gordon.
I tell you one thing, Bobby Labonte is driving the wheels off his car right now.
And if he drives it in there too far, Jeff Gordon will be right there.
The thing he's got going for him is he can get off the corner. So far, so good.
I'm going to tell you who's driving the wheels off right now. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that Budweiser car. He is all over the back of Jimmy Johnson. Pulls it inside. This is a battle for fourth. Can he win the race down into turn 3? Turns it down. Not quite. Again, getting good fight on the upper groove of turn 4 on the exit.
Not too far behind this little crowd either. Don't look. There's the 99 car of Burton and the 38 car of Sadler. They're in the picture.
Left side of your screen, the lead battle. On the right side of your screen, the race for fourth.
You're right, Darrell, that race for fourth, it's about to become a three-car battle because Jeff Burton, carrying the Muscular Dystrophy Association colors this week, he's right there with these guys.
I really thought Dale Jr. could just slip right by these guys as good as his car seemed to be earlier. But again, he had track position. He was out front.
And he's much faster than Jimmy Johnson right now. He keeps beating him, banging on that rear bumper. Looks like he did last week at Talladega, but he just can't clear him and get by him.
Did this work last week?
Our spotters say Junior's not said a word on the radio since the last pit stop. So if there's something wrong with that car, he's not disclosed it to the crew.
Well, the thing about it, no sense in disclosing it now. Nothing that crew can do. It's up to him and that race car right now.
There's really nothing wrong. Sometimes, Mike, when you start to hustle your car, you find out it wasn't as good as you thought it was. Everybody else steps it up a notch, and you can't.
Speaking of stepping up a notch, Tony Stewart in the 20 car, he has caused that lead group up there, Bobby Labonte and Jeff Gordon. He's pulling right up to him, going down the backstretch.
Well, that 20 car has been really good all day long, and it's been able to run a really low line. It comes off the corner right on the box.
Stewart is about to make Joe Gibbs nervous, and Jimmy Maycar, and everybody who's involved with both of those teams, and the structure there. Really interesting, Darrell. Whichever car wins, it doesn't matter. Everybody shares in the bonus pool.
I tell you, I wouldn't be nervous. I'd be happy.
Well, so far.
You know, the thing about Tony Stewart, Darrell, he has showed us all day long, as he did in the beginning of the race, he can run the low groove, but when he needs to, he can run the high groove.
Yeah, they adjusted around on that car, and they made it real good on, but he has the most trouble right there, Larry.
On turn 2.
He just can't get off of turn 2. Now, Junior went to the outside. It's better off of 2 up high. It's better off of 4 down low.
See if he can get that good bite off turn 4. I believe he'll clear Jimmy Johnson this time. The 48 car actually clipped the curve down there in that low groove in turn 4.
That'll mess it. That just upsets the car so badly.
Now Dale Earnhardt Jr. has a little breathing room. He needs these guys to start battling up front.
But Tony Stewart just threw it into turn 3, 2 car lengths deeper than Gordon, and paid the price as Gordon goes for the lead.
Now we can see if Gordon can get hooked up as he comes off of turn 2. That's the hardest place. Get loose, and see how Bobby gets a little run on him there. But now Gordon's good on this end down low.
Boy, you're right, Mike. Tony Stewart failed that thing in turn 3, and it stuck that time.
Now Gordon clipped the curve that time coming out of 4. That's how low you try to get down there.
Labonte gives him enough room for his race car.
Now see, Jeff will get loose again right here. He just can't get back to the throttle right there.
It's like Tony Stewart's back there waiting to see who's going to prevail, because that'll probably be the person he tries to follow.
I don't think he's waiting, Larry. I think he's coming as fast as he can.
break even out of 4. Keep him pinned down. If you keep him pinned down, there's not a whole lot he can do. Keep him pinned down. Gets loose. Drag him down the straightaway.
What you have to remember, Bobby Labonte's out there on just those 2 right side tires, so he's really using those tires up right now, but he's doing what he has to do.
What Tony doesn't want to do is get up in there and distract Bobby Labonte, worrying about him. He wants to try to get by, but he needs to let Bobby keep the 24 car pinned down.
If Bobby Labonte has an advantage anywhere, it's on the exit of the corners. Right here, he gets such a good bite off turn 2 and turn 4.
Actually, Gordon's a little better off of 4. He gets it down there, but just when they get right there, you just can't get back to the throttle, and when you try to, you spin the rear tire.
And while they're doing this, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that Budweiser car, he's closing about 2/10 a lap.
This is going to be 4 cars under a blanket here any moment. 25 to go, 24 as they pass the line.
And Tony's going to get impatient because he's got to go.
He got a little impatient right there.
He's got to go. He's got to get by him because he sees Dale Jr. coming. We're running out of laps. We only got 24 to go.
3 hours and 15 minutes have come down to this. 20-some laps to go and side by side for the lead.
You're happy when your teammate's up there fighting for the win and you're right there behind him, but you're not happy when you see people catching you. Tony's loose off of 2 also. That's a problem area for him.
Yeah, you talk about 3 hours and something, 477 laps. Don't need no seats here. Everybody's standing up right now.
4 cars fight for the lead. 3 cars fight for 5th. Can it get any better than this?
I don't think so.
The thing that hurts Jeff Gordon is I think he's committed to the bottom. He can't really run off the corner high like the 18 car can.
There are the 2 battles for the lead on the left.
And see how they get. Bobby Labonte sort of pulls away when he gets Jeff Gordon out from underneath of him, where he's not distracted.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., Darrell, he is working that high line. He's caught Tony Stewart.
But back here behind him, man, here comes some guys that are racing hard for 4th place, 5th place.
Elliott Sadler inside of Jeff Burton and going by Jimmy Johnson.
I really think it's cool for Elliott Sadler to be running as good as he is, because the other night he just said, I don't like this place.
And I think it's cool for Jeff Burton in that 99 to be having a good run. He struggled so much this year.
And I think it's cool for Fox to show you at home 2 races at once.
We got 2 good races going on. First 4, next 3. 99 got into the 48 there, just about took him out. That's just driving in hard. He drove in hard, got on the brakes and slid up into the 48.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., he went to the bottom of 3 and 4 of them, but Tony Stewart, just like his teammate Bobby Labonte, good bite on the high side off turn 4.
Mr. Who's got the good shock package in there today.
Here comes Junior under Stewart, had a nose under there, couldn't do it.
Hard to make that move off the 2.
We're inside of 20 to go. Ryan Newman back in the race, but cannot improve his position. He's 46 laps down.
So Jeff Gordon in the 24, we're down to about 18 laps to go. Jeff, it's like he's backed off just a little bit. I just wonder maybe if he's trying to cool those tires down just a little bit, but keep Bobby Labonte with him.
I'm sure that's what he's trying to do right now, Larry, but one other thing is kind of looking at the front windshield. You got to look at lap traffic getting ready to come into play here as we see Dale Earnhardt Jr. underneath the 20-car Tony Labonte. So, Tony Stewart, but that's what now is going on is you're sitting there looking at these guys race side by side, but lap traffic's going to come into play for the end of this race.
I really think that what Jeff Gordon did was backed off there for a little while. Might have been getting his brakes too hot. Cool things off a little bit and make another charge here. He's got to believe with 4 tires versus 2, he's got to have an advantage.
But I'm impressed with that 18 car, Darrell, with those 2 tires. I mean, what a great call on this guy's part.
Now, if I was a crew chief, that's when I would be excited. I made that call. I gave him 2 tires. I got the lead. I might be able to win. I'd be excited if I was Fatback.
A page out of last year's book, as Jeannie told us earlier. 2 tires on the last stop was what put Bobby Labonte in position to win here 1 year ago. But traffic will be a factor.
And look at this group right here, Jeff Burton in the 99. I think he has a tire rub because of this beating and banging. They've been beating and banging for the last 5 laps on each other.
Now, what happened that time, Larry, is the 24 car went up high off of turn 2. Got that run off of 4. He's getting a little closer every lap now. He's inching in there, getting a little closer.
Did it. Did it. And traffic ahead, and Junior's there, too.
Look at Bobby Labonte. He's not ready to give up just yet, though, Mike. He gets beside him in the turn 3. Got a good bite on the bottom of the racetrack right there. And look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's right there as well.
I have to give Bobby Labonte a lot of E for effort. I mean, he's put a lot into it. Oh, Terry Labonte's down here. Turn 4.
Terry Labonte spun around. Caution in the air. Oh, boy. 13 laps to go. The caution flag waves for Terry Labonte.
That's a shame. He was still on the lead lap, having a good run.
And let's show you what happened here between Jeff Burton and Jimmy Johnson.
Well, they've done this a couple of times, guys. I mean, the 99 kept getting in under him, and then they just kind of like say, I didn't appreciate that, and bang on each other.
And what happened to Terry Labonte?
Same thing. Gets down underneath the 23, gets under him. No. Wasn't the 23 wasn't involved in that.
It's almost like he checked up because of what was going on between him. It looked like Kurt Busch got in the back of him.
17 car looked like got a little bit loose, and he had to check up a tad and got nailed for behind.
And we have 12 cars on the lead lap. This is a quickie yellow, which means everybody can pit. Right now, the only one I see coming to pit road is Ricky Rudd. It's a no-brainer. 12 cars on the lead lap. He was running 12. Get you 4 fresh tires.
I don't know if I can't make up my mind if this is helping anybody or not. I mean, I think that the cards have been dealt with 4 tires versus 2 tires. If it helped anybody, it helped Elliott Sadler.
It's just helping them catch their breath, Darrell.
That's kind of it.
Because I'll tell you, that's about the best 30 laps of short track racing we've seen in a long, long time.
It's really intense, and that's what they've done to this racetrack, Mike. They've given it you've got 2 options now. You can hook the bottom and try to make it come off, or you can roll around the top and get that good straightaway speed.
Darrell and Larry, think about it like this right now. Where we are when they get ready to give these guys 1 to go, we'll be inside the 10-lap rule. That means all these lap cars that have been kind of like creating issues during the course of the day, they won't be up there. It'll be all elite cars on this, if they're single-file restart.
Single-file restart. But the thing that none of these guys can do, Darrell, you know this better than any of us, is easy on this restart, aggressive but easy. Don't spin those hot tires.
Ooh, buddy. And with those low gears in there, and you've got to be on your toes. You can buzz the rear tires real easy. Keep them cleaned up. See those guys up front there. Keep them cleaned up.
They did not give them 1 to go this time, as we thought. The track crew taking one last look around for possible debris. But they did give the 10-lap to go sign. Jeff Gordon trying to win from the pole. Bobby Labonte trying to win only his 2nd short track race ever. Rick Hendrick looks on. The owner of Gordon's car, Dale Earnhardt Jr., trying to win his 2nd ever short track race and maybe take the point lead for the first time ever, and Tony Stewart still in it.
Rick Hendricks had a pretty big weekend. He won the ARCA race over in Nashville, and Brian, the little kid who drives the 5-car, Vickers, he had the best car. He and Bobby Jr. did in the Busch race, almost won that. Got caught by caution, leading the race here today. He's had a pretty big weekend there.
And that ARCA race was actually Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch's younger brother.
Yeah, 17 years old.
It's hard to believe Jeff Gordon has not won since Kansas back in September, so he's had a little dry spell here as far as getting the victory lane.
Yeah,
I don't know, Toto.
Toto's right there behind him.
We're not in Kansas anymore. But we are set to go, and when we come back around, it'll be 8 laps to go.
I think the thing that's going to happen here is you got to watch the 18. He happens to get under the 24 going into turn 1. He'd make a little contact. Dale Jr. opens the door for him. Dale Jr.'s laying back a tad, laying back, trying to anticipate the start. Didn't do it.
Let's find out. 8 laps to go. Nobody's left. Nobody's sitting down.
For Jeff Gordon, he got quite a jump on that restart.
Yeah, he did. He really, Bobby Labonte didn't anticipate that quite as good as he should have, and Gordon got a jump on him.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. works the high groove.
Got to be careful. Every time you open up, every time you go high like that, Tony Stewart's there to stick the nose in.
And now Bobby Labonte's got to play defense.
If Jeff Gordon, he just keeps pulling away by about 2/10 a lap here in just the first 2 laps. Tony Stewart in a 20 car, he went to the bottom of 3 and 4. Dale Earnhardt Jr. though gets a little bit of a bite. He's there. He's still there.
Still there. Clear. Six to go. All clear.
Magic words. Your fastest car and you're pulling away.
5 laps to go this time. Looks like the race is pretty much backed up for second and third.
Ricky Rudd's new tires paid off. He restarted 12. He's up to 10.
He's battling right now. He's battling Jimmy Johnson, the 48 car. He already went by Rusty Wallace, so he's picked up 4 positions, just 4 laps. But boy, he drove it in too hard. They were in the tires.
Those Mr. Feel Good for feeling too good. Got 17 around.
Kenseth, the point leader, spins, gets into...
No caution yet. The boy had stacked the field up.
Boy, the cars behind him almost stopped.
They're still not going.
It's just so bad because you can't see. And Bush got a flat tire. And
this could be the race. Leader did not get the caution. There is no caution.
But he's laying right in the bottom of the groove in turn 2. The caution will be out. This will be for the race right here.
Come on.
This will be for the race. Come on. Dale Earnhardt Jr. He batted Bobby Labonte for second.
Labonte lifted. Jr. didn't, but couldn't run over top of him. Here comes Gordon to the final flag.
Look at the battle for 4th, though, Mike. Look at him. They're 3 wide sideways off turn 4. Jeff Burton finishes 4th. Again, it's not over with yet, but we only have 2 laps to go. They will not get this race restarted.
Stewart is mad at Elliott Sadler.
He can't be mad. It's 3 laps to go at a short track.
Nothing to be mad about now.
I'm not sure, but
he's on a flat tire, but he has to make another lap and a half on that flat tire.
And I don't believe...
He's turning Elliott Sadler sideways in turn 3 right now.
He's a little ticked, but okay.
I don't believe we can get this restarted unless they give one to go right now. Even so, white flag. Now we're at 499. Well, we anticipated a big battle to the finish, but that prior caution flag let Jeff Gordon scoot away. Nobody has won yet from the front row this year.
Until now.
How about it? 9 races, 9 winners. You don't think Winston Cup race is competitive?
I love this place.
It's exciting. It's exciting. I'm going to tell you, 500 laps up here today and 250 laps with you yesterday. I don't know how much more I can take.
Let's don't stay around for practice, okay?
And Kenny Schrader came to the line 10th, and Schrader's going to get his first top 10 finish since the Southern 500 2001. Good for him. Attaboy, and that's the first top 15 for BAM Racing. But Jeff Gordon, the push from Bobby Labonte across the line, is going to win the Virginia 500. Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes home 3rd. Jeff Burton is 4th. Elliott Sadler is 5th. Tony Stewart, Sterling Marlin, Rusty Wallace, Jimmy Johnson, and Schrader are the top 10. Chevy congratulates Jeff Gordon and the number 24 Monte Carlo on today's win. Another reason why Chevy says wherever there's a winner's circle, we'll be there. There's the winning pass, our Chevy winning moment. Three Chevys, 2 Fords, a Chevy, 3 Dodges in the top 10.
Jeff Burton, good run for that group. Finishes 4th. And again, tip you hat to Michael McSwain. It didn't win the race, but boy, it got him 2nd place with that 2-tire stop.
Sure did. Elliott Sadler, I mean, that was a bold move he made going down there into turn 3, but we're coming to the checkered flag, basically.
And Jeff Gordon's going to make some donuts. Pretty good donuts right there.
Fox welcomes you back live. Jeff Gordon ends a streak of 15 consecutive races without a win, winning his 62nd career Winston Cup victory. It is the Virginia 500 post-race show. Let's go down and join Steve Burns.
Hey, Chris, Jeff Gordon out of the race car. Salutes the fans. Hey, Jeff. Congratulated by Rick Hendrick. Jeff, tell us about your duel with Bobby Labonte there at the end of this race. Did you wait to set him up? Tell us about the duel.
Well, they made a heck of a call in the pitch. You know, I saw Bobby back there, you know, before that, and looked like he had a pretty decent car, and they got track position. I thought I could get by him, you know, earlier, but I got beside him, and my car was just a little bit too tight on the bottom, and he was holding the line, you know, so I couldn't do anything. And we rubbed a little bit, and I tapped him a little bit there going into one, but I think, you know, I had a much faster car, and he knew that, and, you know, it's just a great day for us. I felt good about today. Something just told me today was going to be a good day, and man, what an awesome team. What an awesome crew, baby. Right here, man. Robbie Loomis, all the guys in this DuPont Chevrolet. Incredible day. What an amazing car I had today.
Jeff Gordon wins from the pole. Let's go to Matt.
After a fifth, a fourth, now Dale Earnhardt Jr. scores another career best here. But, Junior, did you wear your stuff out trying to get back up to the point?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we were racing against the best cars in the field right there at the end, so you're going to wear your car out trying to get back to them or around them. But I did what I could. We should have had, we was in the catbird seat behind 18 on that restart, and the 32 had a flat tire and run us both up the racetrack. I know he's doing all he could do, just keep him wrecking. So was I. So I was happy to come back. I shuffled us back to like 7th or so. So I was happy to come back and get a third-place finish. 3 top 5s in a row here, and that's pretty difficult to do. And my team put a good car underneath me, and I want to congratulate them on such a great setup and such a good car. I mean, it's rare that you get such a good piece coming to these racetracks. They work hard and make my job a little bit easier. But
Junior inches ever closer to the point lead. To Dick.
Jeff Burton has finished 4th. Best finish of the year. What were those last few laps like?
Well, it's pretty interesting. Jimmy and I raced really hard, and I ended up, he came down a little bit, but I came up more than he came down. I got into him pretty hard, and I didn't mean to do that. I got into him a few times before that and backed up and let him get himself gathered up. But it was a good day for us. We fought all day. We made the car better. We made it worse, and we made it better and better and better. So I'm proud of us Ditko guys. We're coming together as a team. Great pit stops. Like I said at the beginning of the year, we're a really, really young team. And we're going to take a little while to get going. And I think today was an example of how we can do it. It was a great day on the pits. And I want to say thank you to, not Budweiser, that's the wrong car, but to Sitco. And we've got a big event coming from Muscular Dystrophy Association soon, and we're looking forward to that in May.
Nice job. To Ginny Zalesko.
Well, thank you, Chris. Bobby Labonte, a second-place finish here. Can you speak to your crew chief's decision for the 2 tires? Obviously, didn't get the win, but it certainly got you out in front.
Yeah, it really did. And, we were really tight before that, so they loosened the snot out of it. And, I had to get it turning because it wouldn't turn. But the guys did a good job on this Interstate Battery Chevrolet. We were a 5th-place car there, and got 2 tires. Made a good pit call, and I couldn't hardly hear him, so I said, hey, just do what you want to do. Just tell me what you want. So I came in and got 2 tires and, got a second-place finish out. So it was really a great day for us because we started 39th.
A win last spring and a second-place finish, not too bad. Congratulations.
Jeannie, this is a great place to come to a race, and this is where victory lane should be, right at the start-finish line, right in front of the fans, so they can enjoy it. Jeff Gordon, 4th Martinsville win, 67 of his career.
What I like about this place, Mike, is you're slow in the turn, so you can hit people and you can slide into each other and you can bang each other around and not do a lot of harm. And make people mad, that's about it.
But I want to give a tip of the hat to Clay Campbell that made this change in this racetrack, ground those corners before the fall race, and we've got side-by-side racing here now.
Chris Meyer.
Points, Dale Earnhardt Jr., 3rd straight top 3 finish, putting some pressure on Matt Kenseth, who still holds the lead. But Jeff Gordon, who began racing at age 5 in California before moving to Indiana, won more than 600 short track wins as a youngster, in the hunt here as well. In the points you see, he's up to 3rd.
Well, you got another guy right there at the top 10 right now I was very impressed with was Elliott Sadler today. He did not like this racetrack, came here, made a solid qualifying effort. Next thing you know, he finds himself up there in the top 5. So, I mean, really good finish for him today.
Terrific racing towards the finish. And in 2 weeks, the scene shifting to California, another full weekend of racing. Friday, NASCAR Busch Series qualifying, followed by NASCAR Winston Cup qualifying. That's on speed. Saturday, NASCAR Winston Cup practice on FX, followed by the Busch Series, presented by Yamaha. That's on Fox. And Sunday, start your day with NASCAR this morning, presented by Smirnoff Triple Ice. That's on Fox Sports Net. Winston Cup Racing with the Auto Club 500 presented by UPS on Fox. It's 2 weeks from today, NASCAR returning across the Fox networks. And due to Winston Cup this season, the McDonald's Drive-Thru Challenge, powered by Powerade, all pit stops timed, and the eligible crew with the best time gets the weekly prize of $20,000. The season-long winner gets $200,000. If you want to be a Grand Marshal, tune in the first hour after the green flag drops. Look for the secret number on the animated car. Log on to NASCAR.com or FoxSports.com, and you'll have a chance to be a NASCAR Grand Marshal for a day. Coordinating producer of NASCAR on Fox, Richie Zions. Artie Kempner, the coordinating director. NASCAR on Fox produced by Neil Goldberg. Pit producers Pam Miller and David Blatt. Technical producer Steve Stone. Operating sequence, or the opening sequence, operated on by Gary Lang. Associate directors Greg Scopatone and Derek Manning. That's Scope and D-Rock. Feature producer Bill Richards and associate producer Chris Long. That's Billy and Muscles. Broadcast associates Judy Wong and Jeremy Green. Senior producer is Bill Brown. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorn and David Hill. For all of us here, I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for watching. Jeff Gordon, the champ. Have a happy Easter if we don't see you.